as to what is happening in the nation. The prices of unga and maize are also expected to go up yet again. Well, this I know is featured in one of our dailies and covered in other stories that are making headlines this fine Tuesday morning. Remember, also Mackenzie is still trending. Mackenzie is still trending, and yesterday I was looking at the comment that was made by our interior CS, that is Professor Kithure Kindiki, who said that Mackenzie is going to stay in prison for life, even if he is released by the courts, that they will ensure that they will return him in a prison where he will stay there until the day he dies and meets God for his judgment. That is still the conversation trending as we speak. As at now on this fine Tuesday morning on Twitter, Mackenzie is trending. What do you think about that particular story? Well, these are just some of the issues that are trending today. Thank you so much for tuning in to KBC. Good Morning Kenya is the program. My name is Ram Maguko, and today we also have a conversation lined up for you. The Good Morning Kenya crew meets Zinga. KBC Radio Tafe and KBC TV Channel 1 are going to go hand in hand as we have a conversation concerning governance and development. Our very own Rashid Mwamkondo will be with the retired Colonel Cyrus Oguna, who is the Chief of Staff, Siaya County, and the former government spokesman, as KBC and Zinga meet. Well, this is what we have lined up for you. Thank you for choosing KBC Channel 1. Reggie.
Good morning. Tomorrow is the National Prayer Day, and you can bet we're going to be bringing you this particular Prayer Day session live, and also it's going to be streaming on your various platforms. All eyes are going to be focused on the National Assembly as it resumes, and as Victor rightfully put, it is quite a full entry for parliamentarians there, with the question of the finance bill being one that is going to be taking center stage today and tomorrow. Remember, government has already proposed, or rather it intends to spend 3.6 trillion shillings. Question is, how will it be financing this particular budget? What does it mean for the deficit after KRA has been charged with collecting 2.3 trillion shillings? Question also that Kenyans are asking, is a majority of Wanjiko, that is, will this budget have anything to offer them and ease the high cost of living? We'll be keeping tabs on that, as well as we expect details coming from across other parts of the world, including who is the latest entrant in as far as bidding against Donald Trump there as the Republican representative ahead of the US elections. All this are available on our website, that is www.kbc.co.ke. But before we speak international news, let us bring you up to speed with what has been making headlines on the local scene. I'm Regina Manyara. Now, without further ado, let's take you to what was happening yesterday at Gigiri, where President William Ruto called for practical solutions in the aspirations for sustainable urbanization and ensuring adequate housing for all. The president was officiating the start of a 5-day UN Habitat Assembly, who reiterated that the affordable housing program will be a game changer in achieving the urbanization agenda.
The 5-day meeting kicked off Monday, bringing together delegations from 193 member states of the UN Habitat Assembly. President William Ruto, who officially opened the assembly, noted the steady increase in urban populations was presenting a challenge as well as opportunities for national economic and urban planning and development.
A key barrier to our aspiration for sustainable urbanization happens to be the very impediment to efficient, sustainable climate action in the global south and Africa, and that is sufficient and affordable financing. As a result, we are unable to effectively pursue all the opportunities in sustainable urbanization and leverage them to promote the broader agenda of economic transformation, climate action and sustainable development.
His sentiments echoed by the Assembly's Executive Director Maimuna Mochirif, who called on member states to prioritize sustainable development and advance inclusive urban recovery frameworks that empower cities to respond to urban crises and support national recovery efforts.
As you know firsthand, those of us from humble beginnings understand how adequate housing and urbanization can deliver a better quality of life.
Let us strive to reverse the trend with well-managed and planned urbanization that ensures sustainable development. Good governance dictates that our democrats, our rather technocrats in the relevant disciplines and professions must up their acts to deliver on the promises that we made to our people. Water and sanitation services.
While remaining alive to climate change and global warming effects, President Ruto emphasized on the need for countries drawn from global north and south to work together as partners, noting that none is immune to the impact of climate change.
So long as we continue to imagine that this is going to be sorted out by aid or by assisting this country versus that country, there is no country here that is going to assist the other. The North is going to assist the South. The South is not going to assist the North. We can only work together.
In addition, the president called upon African countries to embrace and make use of green energy, noting that the continent has unexploited resources. It's the hope of the over 100 nations in attendance here today that by the time the 5-day conference comes to an end, that we'll have reached practical solutions in the run-up to the realization of the Urban Africa agenda.
That answers your question. Is a housing levy going to be implemented? All this is domiciled in the Finance Bill 2023-2024 that is expected to enter its second reading as the National Assembly resumes its sittings after a 1-month recess. Now, to that end, a showdown is looming, and top on the list will be the consideration of that contentious Finance Bill 2023 and 2023-2024 budget reading, which has been a subject of debate. Azimio la Umoja Coalition, in a briefing on the eve of the resumption of the House, is calling for the withdrawal of the bill amid threat
between Azimio and Kenya Kwanza legislators, who have locked horns over the contents of the Finance Bill 2023. Azimio la Umoja One Kenya, in a briefing ahead of the resumption of the proceedings, are calling for the withdrawal of the bill.
Siku Alhamisi tutatoa taarifa yetu kamili. Tutaeleza Wakenya kinagaubaga msimamo wetu kwa nini sisi tunapinga hiyo mswada. Na ile hatua ambayo tunataka Wakenya wachukue, hiyo mswada ikiletwa kule kwa vitisho, wakishurutisha bunge kupitisha hiyo mswada.
It is not possible to legislate the poor into prosperity by legislating the wealthy out of prosperity. We demand the immediate withdrawal of the Finance Bill 2023 in its entirety.
Many of the tax measures contained in the Finance Bill currently before Parliament are unreasonable and clearly directed not only at the nation but particularly at Mount Kenya businesses.
The meeting by Azimio Brigade comes barely 2 weeks after President William Ruto met Kenya Kwanza MPs ahead of the resumption of the Senate to drum up support for the bill. At the same time, Kenya Kwanza whip at the National Assembly, Silvana Sosoro, has defended remarks by the president on MPs who will vote against the bill.
The point of open voting was first fronted by our opponents and the minority side, and they said, Kenyans, be glued on your TVs and see the members of parliament that will vote in favor of this bill. And the president just agreed with them. They said you be glued on TV to see whether people will support. Were they threatening members of parliament and trying to, blackmail them to vote against? No. The president said, fine. I also want to see those who will oppose it, because they will have opposed the interest of the executive to create jobs for the young people. It is not blackmail. The president has no role in the National Assembly.
Osoro, who maintains that the bill will sail through owing to their numbers, is calling for calm, citing further amendments will be proposed during the third reading of the bill.
Tumeongea na watu wengi. Point ingine tuna amend in the committee of the whole house. Watu wasipanic. Lakini eventually lazima hii kitu ipite, whether vile iko ama vile iko itakuwa amended.
Meanwhile, a section of leaders from the Mount Kenya region are cautioning against the profiling of youth from central Kenya as members of the outlawed Mungiki sect.
How can hustlers transform from being hustlers within a space of about 6 months into being gangsters, into being mandalas, into being Mungikis?
We shall not allow this same behavior again within Mount Kenya. Mount Kenya is not available for auction. You need to look around for something else to sell.
If talking about the youth now will put me next online, I'm ready. Our members of parliament, speak up for those youth.
There can be no doubt in your minds the reason our young people are being branded Mungiki, the reason they are being branded as drunkards is because there is some ill intent on them.
Finance Bill 2023 continuing to form debate, and this particular bill is basically how government intends to spend and also raise revenues for the financial year 2023-2024. This is a deviation from the norm where the finance bill actually is tabled after the presentation of the proposed budget. Why are we having the finance bill come before the presentation of the proposed budget? There's a question that is going to be answered by the business desk as it works to prepare you on what to expect come budget day, which has been slated for the 15th of June. That is Thursday next week. Now, still keeping up with what has been making headlines, I want to take you now down to Shakahola, a story where that has been making trends, or rather is trending on various social media platforms, including Twitter, where Interior Cabinet Secretary Professor Kithure Kindiki has warned police officers against taking bribes from members of the public. He was speaking in Bundai, that is Tafe County, where he said that his office will not condone such behaviors that taint the image of the Kenya Police Service.
While addressing a security meeting in Undanyi, Taita Taveta County, Interior Cabinet Secretary Professor Kithure Kindiki sought to address the bribery menace in the police service.
And I have spoken very strongly. The culture of corruption, taking money from the public in form of bribes, that culture must come to an end.
Kindiki regretted that bribery had eroded public confidence in the police service.
Tuwe na lugha mzuri ya kudumia wananchi na tuachane na maneno ya hongo na kugandamiza mwananchi wa chini. Hiyo ndio inchi ambayo mungetaka tuwe nayo.
He, however, urged police officers to establish a good working environment with members of the public to boost service delivery.
We must be professional and develop public engagement ethics. Ndio ukiona mwananchi usione kama kitu ya bure. Huyo mwananchi kodi yake ndio imekufanya ukuwa afisa wa polisi.
Kindiki has also called on Kenyans to submit their views on how to regulate faith-based organizations to avert a repeat of the Shakahola horror.
Hiyo jopo kazi itaanza kuzunguka, imetoa ratiba yao leo. Na wataenda katika sehemu mbalimbali za Kenya. Lazima tubadilishe sheria zetu, utaratibu wetu, mipangilio yetu, ili tusikubali tena watu waovu kujificha kwa dini.
His sentiments comes as the third phase of the exhumation of bodies from Shakahola Forest is expected to resume on Tuesday.
Now, as that exhumation exercise resumes today, we'll be keeping tabs on that. Remember, the numbers are almost hitting 300 of those who have supposedly perished at that particular tragedy. Now, county governments will receive their last batch of funds disbursements this financial year on the 19th of this month. Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, who held a meeting with the Council of Governors under the aegis of the Intergovernmental Budget Economic Council, IBEC, said the total outstanding balance amounts to 94.35 billion shillings. Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua also chaired a meeting with the Intergovernmental Budget Economic Council and said that the total indeed will be disbursed by the end of 19th of this month.
A delay in disbursement of funds to the counties as for the last 2 months affected service delivery. However, the National Treasury has undertaken to disburse the last batch of payments this financial year. The contentious 2023-2024 finance bill continues to take shape. Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, who hosted a meeting at his current residence with the Intergovernmental Budget Economic Council, says an outstanding 94.35 billion shillings is set for disbursement on the 19th of this month.
We have further agreed that by 19th of June, the money owed the counties for the month of May will be disbursed. The National Treasury has given a commitment with no guarantees that we shall do whatever is possible to try to raise the money for June before the end of the financial year. But if that is not possible, the counties have been requested to bear with us.
The Kenya Kwanza administration has insisted that there will be no more borrowing for county expenditures, but would rather focus on revenue collection, even as all eyes shift attention to the 2023-2024 financial bill, which is set to be tabled in Parliament.
Now to the courts, where the High Court has directed that a lawsuit filed by Busia Senator Kia Mutata and 4 other activists challenging the constitutionality of the Finance Bill 2023 be heard on the 19th of this month. Justice Hedwig Ogunde said, and he termed the suit as urgent, adding that it raises tribal issues. Details of this and others from the court's roundup.
Delivering a ruling on a suit filed by Busia Senator Okiya Omtata last Friday, challenging the constitutionality of the finance bill, Justice Hedwig Ogunde did not bar the National Assembly from discussing the bill and transmitting it to President William Ruto for his assent. The judge instead directed Omtata and his co-petitioners to serve the Speaker of the National Assembly, CS Treasury, and the Attorney General with the suit papers within 3 days, and that the state officials respond within 7 days. Senator Omtata, however, says the date given by the High Court may be overtaken by events. Elsewhere, 2 men will be detained for 4 days pending completion of investigations into their threats to kill.
And he cooperated in searching and took everything that they needed for investigation. And those materials are in their custody.
Musara Kahinga Siongo and Alvin Zoma Mudhami are accused of sending threatening messages to kill a city businessman, Cheetah Baby alias CJ, and extortion over undisclosed reasons.
Have been threats to lives of the complainant, and the IO wishes to verify the information from the cybercrime unit by extraction of data, and for that reason alone I will allow the application, but I will allow the application for only 4 days.
The magistrate reserved the ruling for Friday 9th June 2023. And the High Court has suspended the elections of Turkana County chapter of the Kenya National Chambers of Commerce and Industry over the existence of 2 lists of members. Lady Justice Josephine Mongare directed that the election be postponed until the suit filed by the outgoing chairperson Pius Ewoton and Deputy Joseph Lusuru is determined.
Now from the courts to matters business, where Kenya has launched its inaugural direct horticulture cargo flight to Israel. Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Mithika Linturi says that direct flights will cut travel time for fresh produce to Israel and some parts of Europe as Kenya diversifies into new markets.
The exports of horticultural products in 2022 decreased 8.1% to 152.3 billion shillings from 165.6 billion shillings in 2021. The decline was partly due to high inflation in Europe, a key market for Kenya's cut flowers, fruits and vegetables. Kenya has been seeking new markets for horticulture produce.
We agreed
that the impediments and the hurdles that have been on the way that limit the export of our tea, our coffee, our avocados, pineapples, as I have said, will now be removed so that we can expand trade and exports both ways to Israel and...
Kenya is seeking to explore the Middle East market through direct horticulture cargo flights to Israel.
We are opening a market that ordinarily has not been opened for the longest. It's a good step towards growing access of our products to other markets.
Today's inaugural direct cargo flight saw Kenya export fresh raw pineapples to Tel Aviv.
Any produce going to the EU market is also acceptable in Israel. That is how, that's what we were doing, and for that matter, I think that answer should be able to settle your question.
The direct flight will be done on demand and is expected to reduce flight time from 24 hours to 5 hours.
Enable our perishables to arrive fresh and of the highest quality compared to when this same commodities were moving via Addis Ababa, Istanbul and Dubai. And this is something that was also causing a bit of a problem with the quality of the Kenyan pineapples when they arrived in Tel Aviv.
Daily visit, we have 25.6 tons of pineapples going to Israel. We have fish going to Israel. We have 6 MOUs and a discussion, and when we had that meeting with Netanyahu.
Plans are also on to resume Mira exports to Tel Aviv, with the government in talks with different airlines. Kenyan exports to Israel amounted to 979 million shillings in 2022, while imports were worth 6.8 billion shillings.
Newly constructed 50 million litre dam near the Kenya-Uganda border will avert conflicts due to water shortage. ASOL's and Regional Development Principal Secretary Idris Dokota says plans are on to drill more boreholes and water pans in the area to foster peaceful coexistence.
The project team, together with the community, sat and identified a priority, and this water pan became a priority because it is serving the needs of the people around here. It is expected to serve over 70,000 livestock here. We have also initiated projects of similar nature around here. We have drilled over 30 boreholes and equipped over 8 boreholes within this area.
Now, Kenya is calling for enhanced transparency and accountability from multinationals operating within the digital space to aid in the implementation of the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development Inclusive Framework. Economic Planning Principal Secretary James Muhati says insufficient information related to pricing transfer by multinationals, if not addressed, will lead to revenue losses for member signatories. Kenya began collecting the digital service tax in 2021, targeting revenues earned by digital service providers, including US tech giants Google, Netflix, Meta, Twitter, and Microsoft. 2 years later, Kenya is the latest country to onboard onto the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development Inclusive Framework that seeks to address the tax challenges of the digital economy.
This is a crucial time to hold informed discussions on global tax governance, especially for developing countries who need to maximize the benefits of multilateral engagements on international tax.
The initiative targets fair distribution of profits and to allocate taxing rights to the countries with respect to the largest multinational enterprises. For implementation, Kenya is demanding for enhanced transparency and accountability through, among others, provision of data.
In addition, countries experience abuse of tax treaties due to inadequate beneficial ownership anti-provisions, at times leading to treaty shopping.
But also on the morality of tax systems and processes must therefore be stepped up.
The deal is expected to come into effect next year and has currently been consented to by 138 out of the 141 Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development Inclusive Framework countries and jurisdictions, with the exception of Nigeria, Pakistan and Sri Lanka.
I encourage you to interrogate the thematic areas frankly and boldly, with a view to finding solutions that could inform tax policies for developing countries.
Now let's speak a little bit of sports, where the CFAO Motors has pumped 32 million shillings into this year's WRC Rally Kenya that is set to take place from the 22nd of this month. This is the third consecutive year the company has supported Kenya Rally, which is the 7th leg of the 13th leg series.
With the completion of Rally Italia Sardinia, drivers are set for another grueling challenge, this time in Africa, at the Rally Kenya set to begin on the 22nd of this month. As part of SFAO Motors' 32 million shillings sponsorship to the 2023 WRC Rally Kenya, the company will provide 2 Hilux pickups to serve as safety route openers.
We here seek to enhance our Gazoo Racing brand, which represents the relentless pursuit of pushing limits and achieving excellence. Through our participation in the WRC, we showcase performance and capabilities of the Toyota vehicles, positioning ourselves as the market leaders in this country.
The 2023 WRC Rally Kenya will be marking the 70th anniversary and will start at Uhuru Park and head to Naivasha.
In 2019, we had more than 20 experts with us. This year, in 2023, we have 2 experts. We have developed capacity using our own people to take over the management of the rally.
The government is the lead sponsor for the rally and is committed to ensuring the event's success.
We are an administration that recognizes the value of inclusivity and the value of having all hands on deck. And that is why we are very pleased with the kind of partnership that has come together to deliver the WRC Safari Rally 2023.
This year's event will focus on encouraging more women to participate in the rally, with the government sponsoring 3 women in the WRC Rally Kenya.
Now, among the ladies who is going to be representing, the women in this particular race is none other than our very own Pauline Shegu, who was here as an anchor and still continues to serve the government in various capacities. All the best to those who are going to be participating. So mark the date, the 22nd to the 25th of this month. If you have nothing set for it, well, the WRC is going to be in town, literally. Now, newly appointed Twinkle Hockey Club head coach Frederick Masibo feels no pressure despite joining midway through the season. Masibo, who was unveiled yesterday in Nairobi, has signed a 2-year contract with the club.
Former Kenyan international Frederick Masibo has been named head coach of Twinkle Women's Hockey Club, taking charge after Western Jaguars midfielder Emmanuel Wiswa, who was named interim coach last week. Masibo, who has coached former champions Kenya Police, will take over the reins from Charity Miller, who stepped down on Wednesday last week after citing work commitments.
We are delighted to announce him as our new head coach at Twinkle Hockey Club. After a long, such extensive, thorough interview process, we were able to get Coach Masibo to come in as our new head coach.
I'll have to start from where the team has been. Lazima niangalie wachezaji kutoka hapa, lazima nikutane na wachezaji, nijue niko na idadi ngapi ya wachezaji, alafu kisha nionane na wale makocha wale wenzangu wale walikuwa kwa team, tuweze kukaa chini tuongee kabla ya kuanza kazi.
Twinkle are making their maiden appearance in the Kenya Hockey Union Women's Super League and are second in the standings with 14 points after playing 7 matches. Emmanuel Wiswa will remain as the team's assistant coach after a short spell at the club's helm.
Ile naleta mezani ni ushindi na kukuza talanta ya hoki na kuwajenga wale wachezaji wa wachezaji bora katika nchi yetu ya Kenya. Ombi langu ni ku make sure at least 1 or 2 players waweze kuwakilisha nchi yetu katika michezo ya usoni.
Masibo will meet officials and displaying unit before they play JKUAT on Sunday in their next fixture.
That puts a cap on matters in the headlines. Be sure to peruse our website for further details at www.kbc.co.ke. Some of the stories and areas to be keenly watching today. Focus is all on Parliament that resumes today after a 1-month recess. With some of the issues to be discussed is the viability of Nordin Haji in his new position as at the top of the helm of NIS, as well as a controversial Finance Bill 2023. Which way will it go? This is a bill that enters its third reading ahead of the budget presentation that is slated for next week, Thursday. I'm Regina Manyara. Enjoy your viewing.
Jamani, unajifungia tangu jana. Mwenzako ansharudi hata salamu.
Dad, you know if there's something wrong, you could just tell me.
Yes, baby girl. I'm fine.
Habari za kombo?
Hayuko madam.
Wasiwasi wa nini sasa? Naweza kuwa hata yule ukweli tu. Ananipima akili.
I told you to stay away from this issue.
Pili is my best friend.
Welcome to East Africa. This is Safari Rally Kenya.
The WRC Safari Rally is set for June 22nd to June 25th in Naivasha. This year's event, the 7th leg of the WRC calendar, consisting of 19 stages, will see drivers, among them defending champion and series leader Khalid Vanpera, battle in what's considered as the toughest rally in the world. KBC Channel 1 will bring you the action to your living room, where a total of only 5 stages will be broadcast live on KBC Channel 1 and the Shakedown exclusive on our Facebook page. Catch the WRC Safari Rally on KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
오늘 신부 잘 끼고 나 지옥 가는겨. 예? 죽여.
뭐 하는 거야 지금? 신부님이 먼저 꺼냈지. 아무튼 간에 나를 조져불고 싶으면 준비 잘해오쇼. 그 신부 언제 어디서 태어나서 뭐 하던 놈인지 싹 다 거둬 알았어? 어?
예, 사장님.
가.
All right, okay. All right, before we get into the newspapers, let's take a look at what we have on the traffic. If you're still at home and you're watching Good Morning Kenya, let me take you through the traffic updates around the city. Let me start with what's near us. The Globe Roundabout still looking pretty okay, but as you approach from towards Pangani, it starts to build around Pangani there about Ngara It's the famous fig tree. It started to get slightly heavier as you approach Globe Roundabout, coming into town and to Slip Road, to Kipande Road. That is usually a very busy area. And if you're also on Thika Road, now the situation is even worse. Near the let me just put it this way, Muthaiga police station, it's all bumper to bumper, all in red, starting from KCA University. If you're on Thika Road, you'll have to be very much patient. From GSU headquarters, the Kenya School of Monetary Studies, along that area, if you know, okay, when it shows this dark red, then it means that this place is completely packed. So Thika Road, all the way from Allsops, Delarue, thereabout, GSU, coming down, you Kenya School of Monetary Studies, past Kenya, KCA University, coming all the way to Kenya Utalii Hotel, College thereabout, still bumper to bumper, past Mathare Mental Hospital, past Muthaiga. As you come towards Muthaiga Square, it's also bumper to bumper, all in red. You'll have to be patient. If you don't have enough fuel, then start singing some sad songs as you cruise.
Actually, Victor, the traffic along that place started at 6:30.
Really?
Yeah, from 6:30.
Okay. It starts at around Muthaiga. Actually, yes, Muthaiga. So it comes towards up to Jubilee headquarters. That is Pangani. That's where it stops. Now, it stops because that diversion, the underpass, one that heads towards Nairobi Gymkhana and heading towards University Way, and of course, towards that side of Globe Roundabout as you head towards Wayaki Way, it starts to be clear. But as you approach Muranga Road, coming down there, it's actually bumper to bumper. For those people who are along Thika Road, be patient, be patient. Okay, let's come back here. For those people who are coming all the way from Nairobi Express Highway, now that is the issue of Wayaki Way. You are lucky enough because that side is okay. It's moving from Quickmart to Wayaki Way, Nairobi School, all the way from that side of Kabete National Polytechnic. That is now Kangemi, Udhiru, flowing into Westlands, is moving pretty well as you come towards Westlands roundabout and now to the Chiroma roundabout, and then joining University of Nairobi, the Anniversary Towers, thereabout. Uhuru Highway, flowing right smooth into, of course, just a bit of some traffic as you approach the roundabouts and even the intersections thereabout Lusaka. And if you're getting into town, it's easier for you. So you can see how the CBD is currently looking like. It's pretty green, but in the next 1 hour, I bet it's going to be slightly busy as we approach midday. So if you're also coming from those sides of Limuru Road, another notorious place. If you're coming towards Aga Khan University or University Hospital, Limuru Road, all those people coming from Muthaiga, Ruaka region, as you approach the Aga Khan University, of course, it starts to build up thereabout because we have got so many intersections there. It's bumper to bumper, of course. So City Park, around that City Park, it's always busy as you come towards Thika Highway and then joining the Kipande Road and ultimately into the CBD. Now, I'll take you through those people who are coming all the way from these sides of, how do you call it, Lavington, and coming towards this issue with the IS Center. If you are in Kilimani, around Kilimani, for those who are in Ngong Road, of course, it's still okay. But of course, the issue of Kilimani approaching IS Center is also still flowing. So if you are coming all the way from Kawangware, that region, from Ngong Road, you want to use that side of IS Center, then it's okay. You can still use that direction. And of course, you're going to take the roundabout at the DOD down to Pan-Afric and ultimately onto the All Saints Cathedral, and then you get into town. So if you're coming from those sides of Dennis Pritt, it's still clear. You have got alternative routes that you can use. You can use the Dennis Pritt route. You can also come to Lenana, join Valley Road, and then ultimately into the CBD. So What about those people who are on Ngong Road? Yes, this is it, how it looks like. Ngong Road is not that bad, not that bad. If you're coming Ring Road, Kilimani, that's now the junction heading towards your center. Of course, now it's clear. Coming down to Ngong Road towards the city mortuary, it's a bit busy. Daisa University, this intersection only is where the problem is. But as you approach the Mbagathi roundabout towards Kenyatta National Hospital, again it's flowing. But this will take you all the way to Capital, towards the issue of the National Library archives, and slowly dropping into the Upper Hill direction, and then joining Ngong Road towards Valley Road, and ultimately into the CBD. And finally, watu wa Lang'ata Road wanasema nimewasahau. Not really, I don't think so. So if you're on Jamhuri, that side Woodley, pretty okay. Ngong Road, if you're coming all the way from Nakumatt Junction, Naivasha Road, it starts to build around Nakumatt Junction, but the rest of the road is pretty okay. So that is as far as our traffic is concerned. So if you are coming into the CBD, you have got enough time to take your coffee. If you're on Thika Road and all those places that I've mentioned, you have enough time to maneuver your way into the CBD as we come to build our nation. Right about now, let me take it to Ram to take us through what we have on the front page of our local dailies as we start this right about. And just to let you know that my guest is already in studio. Ram, over to you.
Yes, and of course we are taking a look at what is in our dailies this morning. Taking a look at the front page of the Standard newspaper. And Victor Olo will be joining us as our guests have already arrived to just have a brief conversation about what is trending in the country this morning. Now, on the front page of the Standard, MPs under siege. Parliament resumes today to a season that will test their nerves. The executive has bullishly asserted that MPs will do as they say, while wananchi feel that the members of Parliament can rescue them from the squalor by legislating against some of the government wishes. Now the question is, will the government whim prevail? That is being asked on the front page of the Standard. But I'm being told that we are handing over to Victor. All right?
Yeah.
All right. Yes, so let me bring it up to you, Victor. Take it away.
Absolutely. Just to take a very short break. Nothing much. Just take a very short break. Okay. We'll be right back with more after this. Stay with us.
Jamani, nijifungia tangu jana. Mwenzako ansharudi hata salamu.
Dad, you know if there's something wrong, you could just tell me.
Yes, baby girl. I'm fine.
Habari za kombo?
Hayuko madam.
Wasiwasi wa nini sasa? Naweza kuwa hata yule ukweli tu. Ananipima akili.
I told you to stay away from this issue.
Pili is my best friend.
After the dust settled on rigorous campaigns, Kenyans are waiting for elected leaders to deliver on their pledges.
Have you used the hustle of funds?
When your children sleep hungry, when you can borrow 500 or 1,000 shillings and they have some food on the table.
So the 500 you're giving me now is my purchasing power has literally been diminished comparing to probably even January or December.
But how have the leaders performed so far?
In terms of the amount of money that is being disbursed, the minimum being 500 shillings, How do you scorecard that?
No, that I'll give it a 2 out of 5.
2 out of 5.
1 out of 5.
I'll still give it 5 out of 5.
Every week, we bring you an honest assessment of the national and county governments.
What is the impact of the Hustlers Fund?
There are people who borrow praying they don't have to pay back. For example, they pray that the owner dies.
The Scorecard. Every Tuesday at 10 p.m. on KBC Channel 1.
Why are you here?
Your dad called me. But the truth is that I'm really hoping I can win you over again.
Reynaldo, I told you to stop. How can you disrespect a woman like this? Reynaldo, what is happening here?
No, I have to speak with Amparo.
No, you are never going to speak to Miss Amparo. What is it?
Isn't that the woman who Milena says is the lover of her father? Why is she here with Alonso? Not sure. I learned that you can expect anything from this wine.
But you haven't told me why you said that you would come with me.
I want you to tell me why you're here with this jerk.
Las Bandidas.
Welcome back. Now let's get straight into the discussion here. Before we get into the discussion, just to let you know that First Lady Rachel Ruto is currently making her way, cycling from State House to Gigiri. There you have it. Those are live photos. I believe that is part of the Uhuru Highway or University Way, if I get it right. She is cycling towards to Gigiri UN Habitat. To that effect, that is First Lady Rachel Ruto making her way to Gigiri UN Habitat. Remember, President William Ruto was there yesterday where he made, where he made a number of declarations and of course some requests and prayers before the members. I'll get you details shortly. And today is the First Lady's turn. What are you doing for yourself? That is Uhuru Highway. Live pictures here on KBC Channel 1. And we'll be getting you more pictures and images as and when we receive them. Remember, she's headed to Gigiri at the UN Habitat. The World marked World International Environment Day yesterday, and the clarion call even for the president and other environmentalists and champions across the world have been to continue planting trees across the world. Green energy is something that we need to be taking care of quite seriously, and that is the conversation happening currently. Okay. Before I continue, it's always an honor to have you, Mheshimiwa, on the show. Mheshimiwa Godfrey Ruku, Member of Parliament, Mbeere North Constituency. Welcome to KBC Channel 1.
Thank you so much.
Karibu sana, Mheshimiwa. Yesterday was World Environment Day. Let me just ask a question. Have you planted trees? And how many?
Yes, in last year in December, we planted 100,000 trees.
Nice
one. People of Mbeere North. And it was a very good initiative.
Yes.
And this is an initiative which we are going to ensure it's going to happen every year within Mbeere North constituency. And more to that, I have been very much involved in issues to do with the reduction of carbon emissions and development of raw carbon projects in Kenya, in Malawi, in Madagascar, in South Africa, as well as setting carbon credits within UNFCCC framework and within gold standard registry, and getting investors to invest in raw carbon project within our country. So this is something which I have a lot of passion and I've been involved in from 2009.
Climate change is real.
Yes, climate change is real. It's really affecting especially the poor countries. And the national budgets are seriously constrained because of climate change. You'll find that national budgets, some of very critical budget lines are reallocated to take care of climate change related problems. Budget line which could have been used in security, in education, in health and other issues. But because of serious effect of climate change, you realize we have to reallocate this budget line. For instance, our country has spent too much money on food, on mitigation of drought. That money could have gone to other national building projects. In a country like Malawi, it has been struck several times by cyclones and flooding, and it's a poor country. All this because of climate change is affecting Africa in a serious manner.
And when you hear the president say that all the parties to scrap, all the conference on parties on climate change, we are headed to COP28, which will be taking place sometimes later in the year. And the president said that, these meetings have not yielded any visible kind of results. I mean, it's homegrown solution. Planting trees is just taking care of our environment. What do you make of that?
It is true. I have been involved in a number of conferences. Some of them we call Africa Carbon Forum in Namibia, in Nairobi, in Casablanca, and there are so many. I've been involved in a climate change conference or a summit in New York, and there is always serious pledges. Nation and different companies and corporations, private corporations, making pledges on what they are going to do in terms of cutting down their carbon emissions, the investment which they are going to make. But actually, a huge chunk of that investment never trickle down to the real project implementations. And of course, in every market, we have cartels. In climate finance market or carbon emissions market, we have serious cartels. People who are very well dressed in suits and who stays in very nice hotels, 6-star, 5-star hotels, but they are basically cartels to
the detriment of other developing nations.
All the money pledged by government, like American government, and goes in circles and ultimately at the end of the day goes back to where it came from. So this is something which we have to take care of through serious, well thought registrations, especially for our country.
Absolutely. All right, Mheshimiwa, I think it was also a good point to start because environment affects all of us nonetheless. So let me just take you through the front page of the Daily Nation here. My colleague Ram had tackled the standard. Let me take you on the front page of the Daily Nation. Unga, sugar prices to go up again. Unga, sugar prices to go up again. According to the Central Bank of Kenya survey, there's a finding that says that recent rains behind fall in vegetable prices. CBK survey finds recent rains behind fall in vegetable prices. You can take a look at that story. They have got some statistics there. Just a quick one. Central Bank of Kenya's agricultural sector survey released on Friday shows that the prices of major food commodities will remain high in the month of June. The Kenya now faces a maize crisis as only 2 million out of expected 10 million bags of duty-free grain have been imported in 4 months. The next one is NCPB says that at least 15 billion shillings is needed to relaunch strategic food reserves. And finally, currently more than 5.4 million Kenyans are faced with starvation and in urgent need of relief supplies. Hard times ahead, Mheshimiwa, for Kenyans?
It is true that there is serious shortage of maize across the world. There is not even a single country in the world which has sufficient supply of maize. I don't have the facts as to why we have such kind of phenomenon at the moment in the world. Probably it's because of the issues we have just talked about, issues to do with climate change. And therefore, when we have a shortage supply of the very basic commodity, which is used in almost every household across the globe, then we expect the prices to go high. In Brazil, there's no maize, and we know Brazil is one of biggest maize suppliers across the world. In South Africa, there is no non-GMO maize. What is there is GMO maize at the moment. There was huge supplies of maize in Zambia. At the moment, there is shortage of maize in Zambia, as well as in Malawi, and other countries. In Ukraine, Ukraine is one of the biggest suppliers of maize and wheat across the world. But at the moment, you know what's happening there. There is war. So there is no maize which is coming from Ukraine, or wheat, or even rice. And also Ukraine is a serious supplier of potatoes. There is none of those commodities coming from Ukraine at the moment. So serious shortage of these products will in fact increase the prices of the same product. So that's why our government and the president has done a serious effort in ensuring that there is fertilizer across for this season. But of course, there are some areas of this country where there is still shortage of rain. So we may not expect to have, huge harvest as expected. And when you don't have huge harvest as expected, then we will definitely experience a shortage of supplies of maize and the food stuff. Then the prices, of course, will go high because the demand is high. And when the demand is high, the basic law of demand and supply states that the prices will always go high.
All right.
So these are challenges which we have to, as a nation, try and come up with appropriate measures. Probably we will require to further take the prices of fertilizer down. And to that effect, I have proposed a motion in Parliament to ensure that the prices of fertilizer of all the crops we have in Kenya, cash crop and food crops.
There is a motion?
Yes.
Okay.
That the prices can be further down, or less than 3,500 at the moment, because it is possible. And this can only be achieved if the Minister of Agriculture will be given authority to have government-to-government procurement of fertilizer for pythagram, fertilizer for coffee, for tea, for maize, for bananas, for all what is farmed in this country.
Is there some, perhaps just a secret, if you can bust that bubble for us, something that Kenyans should expect in the forthcoming budget, the next year's budget for agribusiness in the country?
The budget, for the coming budget is very well aligned with 7 value chain processes. Before, the budget has always been burdened in a manner that the value chain processes are not taken care of. At the moment, we are looking at production. If we have huge production of different agricultural products, where do we take them? That's why the government, through the Ministry of Trade, has started setting up of aggregation centers across the 47 counties, so that when the farmers in our different counties, because all counties have different agricultural product. There are those counties which produce livestock, and leather is a serious product which has a very high demand across the globe. So we have to have a value chain process of leather. It's not only supply of meat. Actually, you earn more money from supply of leather than you earn more money than the money you earn from supply of meat.
Yeah.
Therefore, the value chain process of the counties where there is livestock must be not only meat supplying in different parts of the world, in the Middle East and other places, and also locally, but also taking care of leather and the value addition process of leather.
All right.
The same case when it comes to, let's say, the counties where there is mangoes or there is potatoes. So you produce quite a lot of tomatoes, let's say in Kirinyaga County, in Embu County. When you produce, there is an aggregation point, and there is value chain process of making tomato pastes, and at the same time ensuring the taxes are being reduced, and to ensuring that there is capital injection in that value chain process. So we expect agricultural sector to really benefit from this year's budget.
Okay.
And this has been as a result of the forward thinking of our President William Ruto.
All right. Let me get you through another page here of the Daily Nation. Devolved units to get 33 billion shillings as Governor's Treasury strike deal. They were speaking yesterday after an intergovernmental budget and economic council meeting yesterday between the Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua, and the county bosses. And now the counties will receive a total, the Exchequer will release the April allocation by the end of the week, and another 31.4 billion shillings for the month of May by June 19th. The total amount that the counties are looking for is 94 billion shillings that the counties are owed in the delayed disbursement for the month of April, May, and June. Just last week, the governor said that there were, some threats to halt operations in the counties should the money not be disbursed to the counties. Raila State is profiling Mount Kenya youth. Wamalwa Wairia accused the government of vilifying the same youths it said were hustlers during the campaigns. And now, Azimio leaders said that a majority of youths in the Mount Kenya region are being profiled by the Deputy President and the state. How true is that? Matter of wait and see. Employers to be given time to match housing deductions. Assembly Whip, Chief Whip, that is Sylvanus Osoro, reveals that the government is willing to amend the bill to address key issues. Mheshimiwa, a point of backtracking, or probably people have heard the cry in 10 seconds before we take a break?
In terms of?
Yes, that's according to the Chief Whip, Sylvanus Osoro, saying that the government is willing to amend the bill to address some key issues thereabout.
The bill will pass with very few amendments. It has come to a point where the nation of our nation, our republic, has to make very serious decisions, difficult decisions, so that we can be able to transform our economy. We have been talking about how Kenyan economy needs to be transformed for quite some time. And when it comes to times of taking action, we always step back. We need to have modern civilization. For us to have a modern civilization, we have to ensure all the economic rights and social rights enshrined in our constitution are not only have a policy aspect of formulation, but also an implementation formulation or implementation framework. This has not happened to quite a number of economic and social rights. And there are millions of Kenyans who are jobless. There are millions of Kenyans who are not enjoying all the rights enshrined in our constitution. We have to make deliberate decisions, some of them painful and difficult, so that we can uplift every Kenyan to enjoy all these rights, economic and social rights enshrined in our Constitution, Article 43 of our Constitution.
Okay. All right. As this is happening, you have a very busy day today and a very busy week as members of Parliament after 1 month recess. I believe that as members of Parliament, you are excited to come back, and you've traversed your constituencies across the country, and you've heard what people are saying on a ground ikoaje. That's the question. Ground ikoaje.
The people of Better North, because that's where I've been quite some time, you know, they just need explanations. They need roads to be tarmacked. They need dams to be constructed. They need electricity to be connected in their household. They need good schools, rehabilitation and renovation of all the primary schools and secondary schools we have in our constituents. And they need clean drinking water available in their homestand. And this is not only the people of Better North, but also other constituencies across the country. Somehow we must find a way of financing these projects, and either we finance through borrowing, or we finance through ensuring we have taxed, especially those who have not been paying taxes. We have many Kenyans of very high social standing within our nation who have been exempting, who have not been paying taxes again and again and again. You remember in last year or a few years ago, the companies which have been exempting tax amount totaled to 646 billion Kenyan shilling. That money can finance all the counties in the Republic of Kenya for 2 years. So it's huge amount of money which has been exempted. So we need to take care of such scenarios, and that's why the president is firm.
Absolutely.
You know, and such kind of an act amount to an economic crime, and we have not seen anybody prosecuted in our court as far as committing economic crimes is concerned.
All right.
So we need to take care of such issues in a more serious way, and it can only happen if we make very tough decisions.
Tough decisions, and of course that has to be made. Okay, Mheshimiwa, let's take a quick look at that convoy of the First Lady, who is now cycling from State House, Nairobi, to Gigiri. That is UN headquarters in Gigiri. I'm yet to find out exactly which route is this. But we'll get more details as that. She's a cyclist, by the way. That looks like Limuru Road. That looks more of Limuru Road towards Karura Forest, if I get it right. There you have it. The First Lady will be attending the UN Habitat meeting, and of course that particular function was also attended yesterday by President William Ruto. When you have such kind of activities, Mheshimiwa, Kenya is proactive, matters climate change and conservation of environment. Perhaps the late Wangari Maathai must be smiling wherever she is now that we are taking serious what she started wherever she is. Posthumously, we celebrate her.
Yes, this is very encouraging to see the First Lady of our nation taking such an activity. It's very, very encouraging, and we need to see this more. And I want to congratulate our First Lady for such kind of an initiative, because it is not just cycling, it is sending a very strong message locally and internationally that the people of Kenya are ready to take care of environment, are ready to reduce the carbon emissions of our nation, and we encourage other nations also, especially the big emitters in the West world, to ensure they cut down their carbon emissions, so that whatever they are doing in their manufacturing industries can be very, very efficient. This is what we need.
Yeah, this is what we need. And of course, part of the agenda is that she will share the road campaign to promote safety of cyclists, and that's why she has opted to cycle all the way from State House, maneuvering her way. There is Limuru Road, and in the next few minutes, if not too far or too long now from now, she'll land at, or she'll arrive. We land. We don't arrive, we land. She'll arrive at the Gigiri. And of course, part of the efforts is to promote reduction of carbon emission. I don't know. I mean, our neighbors here in Rwanda, they have a car-free day. I mean, everybody can just come, and some sections of the town is closed and it's a car-free day. Mheshimiwa, don't you have such kind of discussions? Is it even possible that on a Friday, on a Saturday, or on a Sunday, a day that you as legislators would even choose, ni kuchukua baiskeli na tuendelee na maisha?
Yes.
To reduce carbon emission, for once.
But there are projects which can be implemented.
Yes.
Which can reduce carbon emissions in a very serious manner.
Yes.
And those are the projects which we are supposed to be talking about, and which we are supposed to be seeking investments from the carbon market, carbon finance market. We should be looking for investment. Let's say, for instance, in this country, in our city, the issues of landfill, the waste management is a big problem. We can have a serious landfill at Dandora, where that all waste can be used to produce methane gas which can be used to power different projects. We can even use it to cook in our houses. It can generate income. As well as that Dandora dump site, where if we make it a landfill, it can produce energy, electricity, which we can supply in our or in the national grid. So we need such investment to be able to reduce carbon emissions. We also need other different types of projects. For instance, when it comes to the clean cooking in our country, we cut trees so that we can use firewood in our kitchens. So we need more efficient technologies in our kitchens across the country to ensure we not only reduce carbon emissions which come from our kitchens, but also take care of health of our children and our mothers who are mostly in our kitchen, the rural areas. And this will reduce the aspect of respiratory illness, eye diseases, and lower the carbon emissions. So we need to seek investments to implement low carbon projects, and there are many low carbon projects which can be implemented. And I support the president by telling the community of nations, we have to stop talking.
I think now that's
and we have to act.
Yes. I was just wondering how the First Lady was going to tackle that uphill. I think she's the one in the middle, if I get it right. Yes, the one in the middle, of course. Now that's exactly the first one, surrounded by other cyclists, champions, advocates of climate change, road safety. She's doing pretty well. I mean, from heading towards Limuru, there's a steep somewhere inside Karura Forest, and the way she's handling it, I'm a bit jealous.
Yeah,
I'm a bit jealous. You can't do this. I mean,
she's quite fit.
She's fit.
And as you know, also our president is extremely fit guy. He cuts weight for a purpose.
And she's doing it so well.
And you can see it's not only the president who is fit, but also our First Lady. The First Lady of the nation is very, very fit as well. This is very impressive.
Yeah, the way she's handling
I was also not very sure that the steep from as you go towards UNEP.
Towards Karura Forest, inside that area.
Yes.
It's always a bit tricky,
especially
for motorists.
Near the Canadian embassy.
Exactly.
I was not sure whether she'll be able to, but you can see She has performed extremely well.
Somebody can say that she's eating that hill like yam. She's eating that hill like yam.
Yes.
Of course, for a good cause, championing for the road safety campaign to promote safety of cyclists in the country. That's a turn towards Gigiri complex now.
Yes, after Village Market.
Yes, towards the complex. It should be like around a few minutes to the complex. She's done pretty well, and we'll wait to see what she's going to present and her prayers to the meeting and what she's going to submit to the members who are attending that particular function. The president was there yesterday, and he also made some strong submissions to the members. We are also waiting to see what the First Lady is going to submit. Part of her project is to share the roads campaign to promote safety of cyclists, and finally part of the efforts to promote reduction of carbon emission, something that has been affecting the world over. A good cause there for the First Lady and her team headed towards the Gigiri complex at the UN headquarters. All right, there you have it. Okay, Mheshimiwa, very quickly. So today is a busy day for you as legislators after 1 month of recess, and what is there is, let me quote Silvanus Osoro, Chief Whip, the government does not lose.
I would not want to probably use that aspect of upende usipende, but the finance bill is well tailored to take care of the challenges we are facing as a nation. That is what we need to explain to Kenyans. That this finance bill is for the benefit of everybody. It is true, paying taxes has been a problem from ages.
Yes.
Even the times of Jesus Christ. Nobody wanted to pay tax. If today Kenyans are asked to pay tax or not, they will say, we don't want to pay taxes.
Yeah, even had tax collectors.
Let's have everything for free. But we get everything for free from where? There is an animal sitting somewhere called government. Government is me and you. Government is the 50 million Kenyans coming together under one constitution, and they decide to be governed by that constitution. And they need to have basic amenities, education, security, hospitals, schools, better roads. Then we have to think how we are going to finance that. We can only finance that when me and you contribute towards such kind of social amenities. So that's what we need to explain to Kenyans. And to tell Kenyans that we have a government which is very committed to the welfare of the people of Kenya.
What should you expect in the House today?
Today we have the
issue of Nurdin Haji is also part of the debate today.
The normal paper order. I have not properly checked how the paper order is, but of course we'll be having Director of National Security Intelligence, as well as Central Bank of Kenya Governor, the appointed Dr. Kamau Dhuge, so that we can interrogate and see whether they have what it takes to hold those offices. It may not be today, but within the course of the week or probably next week. But of importance is the finance bill. Then immediately after that, we'll be having a presentation of the budget, probably next week in Parliament, so that we can take this country forward.
Yes.
And as I've said, we have a government led by William Ruto, which is as, clean heart, as true interest of every citizen in every region of the Republic of Kenya to ensure we change the lives of the people of our country. We need to take people out of slums. We need to ensure there is jobs for over 5 million youth who are not employed. We need to offer those solutions,
What is the general feeling? about because we had public participation sometimes last week. Over 1,000 entities submitted their submissions and the memoranda. You're going to debate that. But again, even Okiem Tata went to court and he was given orders for to serve other parties, the responses and the submissions. But then now, I mean, it's still going to be an easy way for Parliament. Do we have any other alternative to raise taxes?
It is in very rare circumstances where Parliament is subject to the courts. Very rare circumstances. Okiem Tata, yes, can go to court and can get whatever orders he wants to get, but
that did not stop, actually. The courts did not stop Parliament from debating.
Yeah, the Parliament must carry its function. Yeah. And that function cannot be curtailed by the courts, by the executive. It's part of very important arm of government. Executive is one arm of government, judiciary is another arm of government, and Parliament is another arm of government. Let me say this, public finance takes care of three things. One is efficient allocation of resources of the nation. Two, takes care of distribution of national income. And three, takes care of stability of an economy. This economy has not been stable for quite some time. We have to take decisions, firm decisions, which are going to ensure the stability of the economy is achieved as we move towards the future.
And so what is the general outlook economically of our country?
We are stable as an economy. We are not devoting any foreign loans. In this month, we are going to pay the Eurobond, which is serious amount of money.
Yes.
So an economy which is not devoting any foreign commitment or debt is a stable economy. It's an economy which is trying to ensure the fiscal and monetary policies are properly aligned within all the economic sectors. But there are challenges of employment. There are challenges of what you have just mentioned, the food security. This need, when you talk about distribution of national income, it should be distributed even to the very deep villages we have in this country. Because if you are Kenyan and you live in a very, very deep and far-flung areas of this country, the national income should not only be for the people in Embu, in Kisumu, in Nakuru, in Mombasa, in urban centers. The national income should be felt including very far-flung areas in Mandera, in Ramu, in Mbere, in Ukambani, in all these places. So this is what the finance bill is trying to achieve. For instance, people are complaining about 8% of petroleum product, VAT. It has been increased from 8% to 16%. So they are saying, why? Why are we increasing the VAT of petroleum product? Let me ask you, when this VAT was decreased from 16% to 8%, did petroleum product prices come down? The answer is no. So the question is, why? Why is it that the previous government decreased the VAT on petroleum product and the prices of petroleum product never went down? It is because it was a collusion. It's an economic crime. People in high offices constructed policies so that they can reach themselves using the VAT. So what this government is saying, please, we are not interested in enriching themselves through such kind of very banned way.
Yes.
So let the VAT of petroleum product goes back to 16%, and we ensure the oil marketers pay their due fare.
Yes.
Because what used to happen is that you don't pay this 8%, but let's split it. You're not paying, but it goes to the pocket of very senior people in the last
But let me ask you,
regime.
are you saying this because you're on the other side of government? What if you are on the other side of the opposition? Would you have had the same stand?
It is going to say the truth all the time, because that is what is fair.
Yes.
Okay? And even the people who are in the opposition or in the minority, we ask them to be able to be saying the truth all the time. For instance, we have seen clips going around where the leader of Azimio, the Right Reverend Raila Odinga, was advocating for housing levy because he was in handshake government of Uhuru Kenyatta. So what has changed between then and now? As the housing levy changed?
Way back then it was at 1.5%.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. But can that 1.5% translate into job creation of 2 million Kenyans every single year? We need to get out the young people who are jobless. We need to ensure the value chain I talked about of manufacturing, of our furniture, of our doors, of our windows, of hinges, of iron sheets, of nails in this country is, booming, so that people can be employed. Will that be a true injection, the right injection of our economy? I mean, looking at the status in which the Kenyan economy is at the moment. So we want to create jobs. We want to ensure the value chain processes are more improved so that many people can be employed in different sectors. We need to ensure training is also aligned with some of these value chain processes. So I think whether I'm in opposition or government side, it is always going to talk the truth. And the truth is that the government, Kenya Kwanza government, is very well, it has good intention for the people of Kenya through the proposed finance bill and the upcoming budget to ensure we take this economy on track, back on track.
Before we've come to an end, let me ask you this question. Are the MPs between a rock and a hard place? Between the issue of the public voting system? Now it seems that most MPs who are allied to the president are now in a straitjacket in terms of showing allegiance and now pleasing the electorate. The issue of public voting in the House. What's your take on that?
In Parliament, there are 3 ways of voting. You either vote no, or yes, or abstain. You have to vote in those 3 methods. And abstaining is not keeping quiet. It's voting, is pressing the button of abstaining, so that it can be recorded that you abstained from voting. The other option is to run away, that you are not in the house when the voting is happening. But as far as for the members of parliament who will not vote for this finance bill, or those who abstain for this finance bill, you are either in opposition, but I know there are quite a number of members of parliament in opposition who will also vote yes to this finance bill. But at the same time, probably we have a few members of parliament of within Kenya Kwanza Coalition who may think, and it is within their right to say that, but you need to explain to your constituents in clear terms, as I am doing, why. When we go to when you go to campaign, you explain your manifesto. You try to convince people why you are the best to lead them as a member of parliament. It's the same thing we need to go out there and try and explain again and again to our constituents. And they will understand. Okay, because I'm part of them. I only need to explain why this is important. As I've mentioned, my constituents need roads. We need tarmac roads. We need a dam.
Yes.
Where will you get that money from?
It will be interesting to see
so
how
I need to vote this so that I can run to the government and say, please, here is a dam which we need to be constructed for the benefit of irrigation project, agricultural project in my constituency.
All right, Mheshimiwa, let's stop at that point. It will be interesting to see how it's going to pan out. Of course, we wish you all the best, even as you head towards the House later in the day for the session. And of course, we had live pictures of First Lady Rachel Ruto, who was cycling from State House to Gigiri, UN headquarters, in a bid to share the road campaign to promote safety on cyclists, and also be part of the efforts to promote reduction of carbon emission. That is a discussion that has been happening for quite some time now. President William Ruto was also there and made his submission to members of that particular assembly. We are waiting to see what the First Lady will also submit to the members attending that. All right, right about now, we are taking a break, and when we come back, we'll be crossing over to Radio Tafe, where Rashid Monkondo will be having a discussion with the guest, that's Colonel retired Cyrus Oguna, who is now the Chief of Staff, Siaya County. Actually, he is a former government spokesperson. He'll be talking matters to do with the governance and development, so you need to stick around for that. Thank you, Mheshimiwa, for joining us on the show. All right, and thank you too for being a part of this. My name is Victor Lowe. Have a good morning. Bye-bye for now.
After the dust settled on rigorous campaigns, Kenyans are waiting for elected leaders to deliver on their pledges.
Have you used the hustler fund?
When your children sleep hungry, when you can borrow 500 or 1,000 shillings and they have some food on the table.
So the 500 you're giving me now is my purchasing power has literally been diminished comparing to probably even January or December.
But how have the leaders performed so far?
In terms of the amount of money that is being disbursed, the minimum being 500 shillings, how do you scorecard that?
No, that I'll give it a 2 out of 5.
2 out of 5.
1 out of 5.
I'll still give it 5 out of 5.
Every week, we bring you an honest assessment of the national and county governments.
What is the impact of the Hustlers Fund?
There are people who borrow praying they don't have to pay back. For example, they pray that the owner dies.
The Scorecard, every Tuesday at 10 p.m. on KBC Channel 1.
Jamani, unajifungia tangu jana. Mwenzako nsharudi hata salamu.
Dad, you know if there's something wrong, you could just tell me.
Yes, baby girl. I'm fine.
Habari za kombo?
Hayuko madam.
Wasiwasi wa nini sasa? Naweza kuwa hata yule kweli tu. Ananipima akili.
I told you to stay away from this issue.
Pili is my best friend.
Welcome to East Africa. This is Safari Rally Kenya.
The WRC Safari Rally is set for June 22nd to June 25th in Naivasha. This event, the 7th leg of the WRC calendar, consisting of 19 stages, will see drivers, among them defending champion and series leader Khalid Ovanpera, battle in what's considered as the toughest rally in the world. KBC Channel 1 will bring you the action to your living room, where a total of only 5 stages will be broadcast live on KBC Channel 1 and the Shakedown exclusive on our Facebook page. Catch the WRC Safari Rally on KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
Bara kabisa mtazamaji, baada ya kuwa standby kwa muda na sasa stand up. Hii ni KBC Radio Taifa, sauti ni ya Mkenya, na vile vile pia asante sana kwa kuchagua runinga unayoipenda ya KBC Channel 1, kipindi Good Morning Kenya, ikiwa leo ni tarehe 6 mwezi wa 6 mwaka wa 2023. Msikilizaji, mtazamaji, mahali popote ulipo, tunakwambia sikiza, tazama. Hiki ni kipindi cha Gumzo Pevu ambacho kujia kila siku ya Jumanne kwa ushirikiano wa KBC Channel 1 na Radio Taifa. Upande wa pili yupo mwenzangu Dora Manya, Radio Taifa sauti ya Mkenya, na upande ule mwingine yuko Victor Loram Aguk na Regina Manyara kwenye Good Morning Kenya. Lakini kabla kujitoma ndani ya kipindi, mtazamaji, utangulizi kiasi. Mtazamaji, Siaya ni miongoni mwa kaunti zilizoko katika eneo la Nyanza na upakana na ziwa Victoria. Nyakati za ukoloni, Siaya ilikuwa katika mstari wa mbele kuwasomesha watoto katika shule za kikoloni. Wengi wanamfahamu Chief Odera Okango, aliaga dunia mnamo mwaka 1950. Alisaidia pakubwa kuwalazimisha wazazi kuwapeleka watoto wao shuleni, na mara nyingi aliwachapa wazazi wazembe waliokataa kuelimisha watoto wao. Ni kutokana na juhudi za Kango, mtazamaji, msikilizaji, ambapo Siaya hadi tunavyozungumza ina maprofesa, ina madaktari na wasomi wengi zaidi katika taifa letu tukufu la Kenya. Yafaa tukumbuke kwamba baba wa rais mstaafu wa Marekani Barack Hussein Obama, chimbuko lake ni Siaya, Kenya. Zaidi yoyote, kwa ufupi, Siaya ni kama tunuru ya kutengeneza dhahabu, mtazamaji. Ili kufahamu mengi zaidi kuhusiana na kaunti ya Siaya, studioni kwa mara nyingine simuiti mgeni, huyu ni mwenyeji, hata mashimo yote ya KBC anayajua. Ni nani ninayemzungumzia, mtazamaji? Ni kanali mstaafu wa kikosi cha jeshi Cyrus Oguna, ambaye awali alikuwa msemaji wa jeshi letu la Kenya, kisha akawa msemaji wa serikali iliyopita, na kwa sasa yeye ni afisa mkuu wa wafanyikazi, kimombo Chief of Staff, katika kaunti ya Siaya. Kwa jumla basi tutaangazia uongozi na maendeleo, na vile vile tutakuwa tunachungulia kaunti ya Siaya. Bila kupoteza nukta, sekunde wala dakika, karibu nyumbani bwana.
Asante sana ndugu Rashidi. Kwa kweli ni furaha tena kuweza kuwa hapa kwenye studio hii ya KBC. Hapa ni nyumbani. Nasema KBC ni baba na mama. Manake hapa ni nyumbani. Nimekuwa hapa mara nyingi tu. Na na furaha tena kuweza kukaribishwa hapa hii leo, kuweza kuangazia mambo ya nyumbani. Nyumbani nikiwa ni Siaya, kaunti ya Siaya. Ndio. Na tumepezana kwa muda bana. Ulikimbia Nairobi ukienda Siaya. Hapana, wewe ndio umenichunia ndugu yangu. Yaani hata namba yangu ulitupa. Iko. Asante kwa kunikaribisha.
Labda tu tukianza, umejulikana kama msemaji wa serikali wa rais mstaafu Uhuru Kenyatta, na awali ulikuwa msemaji wa jeshi la Kenya. Maisha yamekuwa vipi tangu uelekee kwenye kaunti ya Siaya?
Mimi mwanzo namshukuru Mwenyezi Mungu. Kwa sababu kwa kweli nimekuwa na bahati kuweza kuwa msemaji wa jeshi, baadaye kuwa msemaji wa serikali. Sasa niko nyumbani. Tunasema kwamba inapofika kila jioni ndege wote narudi wapi? Nyumbani. Mimi nimekuwa ni ndege, nimerudi nyumbani, lakini nasema pia pale ni nyumbani na lazima turudishe nyumbani. Kila siku, ambapo tunasema kwa kizungu must give back to your community. Mimi nikiwa pale Siaya nafanya kazi chini yake Governor James Orengo, na kule kazi ni sawa tu, maana yake ni serikali, japo kwa serikali ndogo, lakini ni serikali kama nyingine, na kazi tunachapa barabara. Ndio.
Kuna watu wanauliza, kwani serikali ya sasa ilikutimua ama uliamua tu mwenyewe uondoke?
Nadhani watu wengi watauliza hivyo. Ndio. Wengi watauliza, wala
mimi mmoja wao.
Wewe kama mmoja wao. Mimi nasema kandarasi yangu, contract yangu ilikuwa niishe mwezi huu. Mwezi wa 6. Maana mimi kwa hiari yangu mwenyewe nikaamua tu kwenda nyumbani. Ndio nilienda nyumbani mwezi wa kwanza, yani Januari. Ikiwa bado nina miezi 5 6 kwa contract yangu ya hapo awali. Manielewa. Kwa hivyo sio kutimuliwa, ni uamuzi wangu mwenyewe tu kwenda nyumbani.
Sasa ngoja Bwana Oguna. Ulienda nyumbani wewe mwenyewe?
Wewe mwenyewe nikaamua tu.
Miezi 5 kabla ya muda wako kustaafu. Sasa pesa zako zinachukuliwa na nani?
Ukiacha umeacha. Ndio. Ukiacha umeacha.
Fadhali ungeniachia
mimi. Sikiliza, nimesema hapo awali kwamba nyakati za jioni.
Ndio.
Kila ndege lazima arudi wapi?
Nyumbani.
Mimi nikaona muda wangu wa kurudi nyumbani umefika, bado nina nguvu ya kuweza kutumikia wananchi wetu kule Siaya.
Ndio.
Kwa hivyo kwa hiari yangu tu mimi nikasema, nikaandika barua kwamba asante sana kwa muda huu wote umenipatia kazi ya msemaji wa serikali, lakini sasa naomba niende nyumbani. Ndio.
Alright, karibu sana. Labda umehudumu katika serikali kuu na sasa uko katika serikali ya county. Kuna tofauti gani?
Tofauti itakuwepo bila shaka, na ni kwa sababu serikali kuu imekuwepo nadhani kwa muda siopungua miaka 60. Serikali kuu, maana tulipopata uhuru hadi sasa ni zaidi ya miaka, kama sijakosea, labda kuelekea 60 sasa. County, serikali za county ni kwa miaka 10 tu. Nadhani sasa ni 11. Kwa hivyo lazima kuwe kuna tofauti. Hata na mtu ambaye ana miaka 10 ukilinganisha na miaka 60 kuna tofauti. Kwa hivyo kuna vitu ambavyo bado havijakuwa sawa, lakini sasa nadhani kwamba kuna michakato ya kuweza kufanya ziwe sawa. Kwa hivyo kuna tofauti kidogo. Ndio.
Ulipokuwa msemaji wa serikali ulikuwa unajuza taifa na wananchi mengi kuhusiana na serikali. Kuna yule ambaye anakutazama na kusikiliza saizi anauliza, je, Chief of Staff kazi yake ni nini?
Kazi ya Chief of Staff ni kuweza kusaidia governor. Mwanzo ni kurekebisha, kutayarisha ile tunasema program yake, diary yake, lakini pia kuna wale ambao wanafanya kazi chini ya governor ambao ni wengi tu, hao wote wako chini yangu. Lakini pia kuweza kusaidia mambo mengine ya county, kama sasa niko hapa ya kuweza kuenezea mambo ya county. Kwa hivyo mimi hasa kazi yangu kubwa ni kuweza kusaidia governor kwa shughuli zake za kila siku. Ndio. Sio kama naibu wake. Hapana, wasije kukosea kwa hapana.
Oguna ni naibu wa governor.
Hapana, wasije kukosea hivyo. Ni kusaidia governor kwa kipindi chake cha kila siku. Ndio.
Umesema uko hapa kwa ajili ya Siaya na vile pia kule unafanyia kazi serikali ya county ya Siaya. Labda kuna yule ambaye anaifahamu Siaya na haifahamu vizuri. Fursa unayo. Hebu tuelezee inafahamika kwa mambo gani katika ustawi wa taifa letu la Kenya hii county?
Hapo umesema wale kwamba ni county wasomi. Ambapo tunasema kwamba unapotupa jiwe tu kitupa hewani asilimia 70 ama 80 itaangukia profesa mmoja. Kama itampiga kichwani itaanguka kwake nyumbani. Unaona? Na ndio sababu hata kuna jopo moja ama kikundi kimoja kinaitwa LREB. LREB ni kwamba Lake Region Basin Authority. Ni counties ambazo ziko kwenye kanda ya bahari, na kwa county hizo Siaya nimepewa kusimamia wadhifa wa elimu. Kwa sababu ni kwamba ni county inajulikana sana kwa masuala ya elimu, ina wasomi wengi sana. Lakini pia tukumbuke pia county hiyo imepakana na ufuo wa ziwa. Nadhani kwamba ni sehemu ambapo ina maji masafi kuliko sehemu nyingine yote kanda hii ya ziwa la Lake Victoria. Kwa hivyo ni kwamba tuko na vitu vingi vya kuweza kutumika kwa masuala ya kilimo. Tuko na samaki, tuko na maji kwa mito mingi, tuko na udongo wenye rotuba. Kwa hivyo kuna vitu vingi ambazo ni nzuri za kuweza kusaidia kwa kujenga kaunti hiyo.
Magavana walikuwa miongoni mwa pote la kwanza kuweza kuapishwa rasmi mwezi Agosti. Labda hadi kufikia sasa kaunti ya Mheshimiwa James Orengo mumepiga hatua gani kimaendeleo?
Nadhani hapo awali kuna nyakati ambazo kaunti zote 47 huwa zinapimwa kulingana na maendeleo ambazo zimepiga. Hapo awali tumekuwa namba 46. Hapo awali kati ya kaunti 47. Inamaanisha kwamba tulishinda kaunti moja tu. Hivi majuzi tumekuwa namba 26.
Ndio.
Kutoka 46 hadi 26.
Meruka nafasi 20.
Kwa kipindi cha James Orengo. Muda mdogo sana. Lakini pia ni kwamba hiyo ni nchi yote kwa jumla. Lakini katika kanda yetu hiyo tumekuwa namba 2. Tumeshindwa na Nyamira peke yake ambayo ilikuwa ndio namba 1 kwa kanda hiyo, lakini kwa kanda ama katika zile county ambazo zinaongea lugha ya Kijaluo tumekuwa namba 1. Kwa hivyo tumepiga hatua kubwa sana. Utakumbuka kwamba kutoka namba 46 kuja 26, alafu pia kuwa namba 1 kwa county zote ambazo zinaongea lugha hii ya Kijaluo. Umenielewa? Lakini pia nafikiri ningependa kuangazia kwamba katika sera zetu ama kwa tunasema manifesto yetu kama county, tuko na tusema kuna nguzo 6 ama tuko na agenda 9. Kati za agenda 9 iliyopewa nguvu zaidi ama upeo zaidi ni agenda ya kilimo. Ili kuweza kuangazia masuala ya kilimo, kwa sababu nadhani nchi nzima tuko na uhaba wa chakula. Sisi kama county tukaona tukabidi tuweze kupiga maendeleo makubwa, lazima tuweze kujitosheleza kichakula. Kwa hivyo ili tumepata kipaumbele ni masuala ya kilimo. Ili kuweza kupiga hatua katika ngazi hiyo ni kwamba county imeweza kutoa matrakta. Matrakta kwa sasa hivi tumetoa trakta 7. Tukiongeza zile ambazo zilikuwepo 10 zingine. Kwa hivyo kwa jumla tuna trakta 17 ya kuweza kusaidia wakulima, ambapo iwapo kuna eneo la kuweza kulima na huna uwezo, tunakupatia trakta inakulimia na tunakupatia mbegu bure. Trakta tunauliza shilingi 2,000 kwa kila hekta moja, eka moja shilingi 2,000, lakini mbegu tunapeana bure. Sio kwamba bure vile, lakini kwa sababu serikali imetoa, account imetoa ruzuku. Kwa hivyo ile tunasema subsidy ya 100%. Kwa hivyo sasa mkulima akiwa kuna eneo, akishalima akitumia tractor ya county ama tractor nyingine yoyote, ama akitumia mbinu zingine zozote za kulima, tunampatia nini? Mbegu pamoja na mbolea ya bei nafuu, ili tuweze kuangazia masuala ya chakula pakubwa, kwa sababu hakuna nchi yote ulimwenguni ambayo imeweza kupiga hatua kimaendeleo nyakati ambazo kuna uhaba wa chakula. Ndio.
Labda county hii ya Siaya umesema kwamba inafahamika kama sana kuhusiana na masuala ya kilimo. Pengine ni kilimo cha aina gani ambacho mnafanya kule? Kwa sababu mimi eneo zima la Nyanza mahali ambapo nimezuru tu Nyamira, Kisii na Kisumu.
Sasa una nafasi nzuri ya kuweza kuja Siaya. Tunalima pale mazao mengi. Mwanzo tunalima mahindi sana tu. Hapo awali kumekuwa na kilimo cha pamba ambayo iliweza kwenda chini, lakini sasa tunazidi kufufua. Kuna pia kilimo cha mpunga ama mchele ukipenda katika maeneo fulani za nchi hiyo, amisodi za county hiyo. Na kufikia sasa nitakuelezea ndugu Rashidi kwamba katika muhula huu ama katika wakati huu wa James Orengo, county hiyo imepata mtamba ama nini, tunasema kifaa ama kiwanda cha kuweza kusindika mchele kwa safari ya kwanza. Yani county yote ya Siaya haijakuwa ni ile tunasema company yote ama processing plant yote. Kwa sasa tumekuwa na kiwanda cha kuweza kusindika mpunga ama mchele ukipenda kwa mara ya kwanza. Inamaanisha kwamba mchele pia ni aina ya kilimo ambapo mazao ambazo tuko nazo kule Siaya. Tuko pia na mpango ya kuweza kufungua mashini ya kuweza kusindika pamba ili tuweze kupata nguo na mambo mengine ya kuweza kusaidia katika hata kulisha samaki. Samaki pia ni baadhi ya mambo ambazo tunashughulika nazo. Maana unajua tumesema hapo tuko na ufuo ndefu sana, japo kwa sio ndefu kulinganisha na counties zingine, lakini tuko na sehemu ambapo ina maji masafi mno. Kwa hivyo samaki pia ni njia moja ya kuweza kusaidia ile kupunguza uhaba wa chakula katika county hiyo. Kwa hivyo kuna mambo mengi pamoja na njugu, pamoja pia na tunasema kuna hiyo njugu, kuna pamba, kuna mchele, kuna mahindi, kuna maharagwe. Kwa hivyo ni nchi ambayo ni county ambayo imebarikiwa na mambo mengi ya kuweza kusaidia kupunguza uhaba wa chakula.
Bila shaka mtazamaji, kwa wewe ambao unatazama runinga ya KBC Channel 1, sura unayoiona si geni. Utakumbuka tu huyu ni kanali Cyrus Oguna, lakini kwa wewe ambao unasikiliza KBC Radio Taifa Sauti ya Mkenya, iko hivi sasa ni saa 2:20, kipindi hewani ni Zinga. Upande wangu mimi naitwa Rashid Mwamkondo. Oguna alipokuwa akija hapo upande wa pili ilikuwa niko naye Chozi la Almasi, lakini sasa nina kipusa mwingine anaitwa Dora Manya. Kwa hiyo mtazamaji na msikilizaji, tutakuwa tunakupatia nafasi wewe uweze kushiriki nasi moja kwa moja. Turudi katika swala tata. Tulipopitisha katiba mwaka 2010 na kuleta ugatuzi, ilikuwa na maana kubwa sana. Lakini sasa tumeanza kuona changamoto kubwa sana. Sasa kumekuwa na migogoro kati ya magavana na manaibu wao kuhusiana na masuala ya uongozi. Bwana Oguna, je, migogoro hii inaletwa na mambo gani? Na vipi tutaweza kuisuluhisha katika utekelezaji wa kazi katika serikali zetu za kaunti? Kwa sababu utakubaliana na mimi, migogoro kati ya magavana na manaibu wao inalemaza sana shughuli za kaunti.
Ni kweli. Ni kweli kabisa. Lakini pia nadhani kwamba kilichoko hasa ni kwamba kuna watu ambao hawataka kufuata sheria ilivyoandikwa na katiba yetu. Maana katiba ilikuwa inafahamu kwamba mafahali wawili hawezi kuwa kwenye zizi moja. Kwa hivyo lazima kuwe kuna gavana na naibu wake. Hakuwezi kuwa na gavana nusu pande moja na gavana nusu pande mwingine. Haitawezekana. Umenielewa? Kwa hivyo pale katiba yetu inasema kwamba gavana atakuwa na shughuli kazi yake ya kuendesha county na atakuwa na msaidizi wake ambaye atakuwa akimsaidia kulingana ile kazi amepewa afanye na gavana. Hivyo ndivyo ilivyo. Hata nafikiri katika ngazi kuu ya kitaifa kuna rais na naibu wake. Nadhani kwamba ni kitu ambacho kinaeleweka. Hakuna nyakati ambazo kutakuwa na rais wawili ambao ama watu wawili ambao wako na nguvu sawa. Manake mambo hayawezi enda katika hali kama hiyo. Kwa hivyo katiba yetu ilikuwa ishatambua kwamba governor atakuwa na kazi fulani na mdogo wake atakuwa na kazi fulani. Hasa kazi ya mdogo wa governor ni kupewa kazi na governor kwamba leo ningependa nifanyie kitu fulani fulani. Umenielewa? Nafikiri tatizo iliyopo ni kwamba wengi hasa zile counties ziko na tatizo hiyo ni kwamba wa manaibu hawangelipenda, yani labda wako na hamu ya kuwa governor ama wako na nia ya kuwa governor. Tunasema kwamba ndio si mbaya kuwa na nia ama kuwa na hamu hiyo, lakini kila kitu kina wakati wake. Kwa wakati huu kuna governor fulani. Mimi napenda kuuliza tu, leo tuko kwenye studio hii ya KBC. Nadhani wengi hapo wanaelewa governor wa Siaya anaitwa William Oduor. Naibu governor anaitwa William Oduor. Lakini tukiuliza tu wangapi wanaelewa jina la naibu governor wa tuseme county ya Nakuru ama county ya hata Eldoret ama county ya Murang'a hapa? Unajua naibu wa governor pale? Hata kwa jina unamfahamu kweli? Humfahamu. Lakini Murang'a ni hapa tu. Mbona tunafahamu naibu governor Siaya ambao ni karibu kilomita 400?
Sisi kwa sababu kuna mzozo naje huko.
Na ni kwa sababu hao wanaelewa kazi yao. Umenielewa? Kila mtu lazima aelewe kazi yake. Kila mtu akimbie kwenye mstari wake. Mambo yatakuwa sawa tu. Lakini mimi siwezi vuka mstari wangu nikaingia kwa mstari wa mwingine. Hata nyakati tuko katika mashindano ya mbio. Iwe ni mbio za nyika, mbio za aina gani. Kuna mstari. Unapovuka mstari wako ukaenda kwa mstari ya mtu mwingine, utakuwa umekosea. Ni kweli bwana?
Kweli.
Kila kitu kina sheria zake, tufuate sheria hizo. Naam.
Kwa muktadha huo bwana Oguna, umekuja wakati mwafaka kabisa. Wiki iliyopita naibu gavana wa Siaya ambaye taifa zima la Kenya kwa sasa linamjua bwana William Oduor alikuwa papa hapa KBC. Hebu tuelezee kwa muktadha huo uhusiano kati ya gavana James Orengo na naibu wake William Oduor uko vipi kwa sasa?
Kwa sasa sitasema ni nzuri. Wala sitadanganya kwamba ni nzuri kwa sababu si nzuri. Kidogo kuna tafash. Umenielewa? Lakini tafashi ambayo haijatokana na governor. Kwa sababu mimi nimefanya kazi na watu wawili kwa kipindi hichi, nimekuwa pale kwa karibu sana. Kwa hivyo mimi naelewa. Ni kwamba governor hana shida yoyote na naibu wake. Kwa sababu yeye ndio governor, anafanya kazi yake kama governor. Lakini pia tunasema naibu wake pia afanye kazi yake kama naibu. Ndio.
Bunge la kaunti ya Siaya lilipitisha hoja ya kutokuwa na imani na naibu gavana bwana William Oduor, na hii leo anatarajiwa kufika katika kamati maalum kuweza kutoa upande wake pamoja na wananchi na mashahidi. Na miongoni mwa masuala ambayo William Oduor analalamikia kwamba anasema ni ubadhirifu wa fedha, ufisadi katika kaunti ya Siaya. Kwa miaka mingi wale wanaomfahamu James Orengo wanakuambia yuko katika mstari wa mbele kutetea haki za wananchi na vile vile pia kupinga ufisadi. Hizi tuhuma zinakujaje bwana Oduor?
Hizo tuhuma kweli zimekuepo. Na mimi nadhani kwamba ni wakati huu ni mwafaka sana ili kwamba wananchi wapate kuelewa kwamba kinachoendelea kule ni kitu kipi. Mwanzo nyakati James Orengo alipokuwa kwenye msururu wa kutafuta makurai wananchi wampigie kura ama wapigie kura wakiwa wawili, walikuwa wakitisha kura ama wakiomba kura kwenye tunasema wakiangazia masuala ya kupambana na ufisadi. Inamaanisha kwamba kumekuwa na tuhuma za ufisadi hata kabla hajaingia kwa uongozi wa county.
Ndio.
Ambapo hata nadhani kwamba EACC imekuwa ikifanya uchunguzi pale kwa zaidi ya miaka 2. Unaelewa? Sasa yeye Orengo akiwa pamoja na Odua walipoingia kwenye hatamu ya uongozi wa county, kile ambacho Orengo alifanya mwanzo ni kuweza kubuni jopo kazi ikiongozwa na Edward Ouko. Ile tunasema kwa lugha ya Kizungu task force, ikiwa mwenyekiti wake alikuwa ni nani? Edward Ouko, ambaye alikuwa ni mkaguzi wa matumizi ya pesa za serikali, Auditor General, ambaye amestaafu sasa. Wakati jopo ile lilipotoa ripoti yake, ikasema kwamba ile ripoti ikawa inasema, na ripoti ilitolewa hadharani mchana tu, waandishi wa habari wakiwepo na pamoja na kila mwananchi alikuwepo na wadau wote, ni kwamba kumekuwa na tatizo hapo awali. Maana yake wao hawajachukua usukani, walikuwa wangependa kujua tu kwamba tunaingia kwa nyumba iko vipi ndani. Sasa hiyo ripoti ikasema kwamba nyumba iko hivi, kuna mashimo kadha, mashimo ambazo kuna kwa nini njia ya kuweza pesa kutoka. Tuseme kwa mfano mashimo kama 20 tu, kwa na pia na mfano tu. Lakini wakasema pia wakapendekeza kwamba ili county iweze kuendelea vizuri, mashimo haya lazima azibwe. Pendekezo. Sasa James Orengo akaanza kuziba mashimo haya. Baadhi ya account zile ambazo kwa zikitumika kwa kutoa hela ni account ya matumizi ya pesa haraka, ambao tunasema kwamba ni impressed account. Umenielewa? Na sasa baadhi ya pendekezo ni kwamba impressed account ifungwe, na James Orengo akafunga impressed account. Umenielewa? Sasa madai ya naibu wake ni kwamba mwanzo kule kuziba mapengo haya ni kwamba hajaziba yote. Umenielewa? Lakini pia mapendekezo hayawezi yakatekelezwa yote kwa wakati mmoja. Kuna zile za haraka ambazo zinahitaji kufanywa kwa haraka na zimeshafanywa, zingine zitakuwa ni za muda, zinaendelea kufanywa, zingine zinahitaji hela kufanywa. Lakini cha msingi ni kwamba impressed account hiyo ilifungwa ambapo haitumiki tena. Umenielewa? Kwa hivyo madai haya mwanzo tunasema ni madai ya kibinafsi. Umenielewa? Nimesema pale awali kwamba kuna watu ambao wako na nia na hamu ya kuwa nini? Kuwa governor.
Lakini ni mapema sana.
Sasa muelezeni. Mueleze kwamba ni mapema sana jamani. Bado kuna miaka zaidi ya 4. Asubiri tu. Umenielewa? Yeye mimi nadhani kwamba nyakati ambazo kumekuwa na uchaguzi, na uchaguzi ni kwamba mimi na muunga mtu fulani mkono kama naibu wake. Lazima shakubali kwamba hata kabla sijakubali kumunga mkono, nimesoma na kuelewa kwamba kazi ya naibu ni ipi ama ni zipi. Kwa hivyo na muunga mkono nikijua kwamba kazi zangu tutakaposhinda itakuwa ni hii na hii na hii. Mwanzo nitasubiri nipewe kazi na governor ambaye ndiye amepigiwa kura. Kesho tukirudi kwenye uchaguzi, nani atauliza Udolo ulifanya nini wakati ulipokuwa? Nani ataulizwa? Ni governor ataulizwa. Governor ambaye ni nani? James Orengo. Umenielewa? Kwa hivyo mimi naomba tu kwamba madai haya, kwa kweli mimi nimefanya kazi kwa serikali zaidi ya miaka 35. Umetaja jina langu hapa, inajulikana pembe zote za nchi. Kwa jeshi nimefanya, serikali kuu nimefanya, sasa niko katika county ya Siaya. Mimi nakuelezea Rashidi, kama ingelikuwa ni kwamba James Orengo akona mambo tofauti na zile ambazo umesema hapo, mimi ningekuwa nishaondoka. Lakini sasa nasema hivi leo, nadhani kwamba nchi yote inanisikiliza ama wananitizama, ni kwamba iwapo ataondoka leo James Orengo, nitaondoka na yeye. Kwa sababu namfahamu. Sisemi hivi kama ni PR, tunasema wala sio PR, ni kweli. Mimi niko na James Orengo kila siku. Vile anajaribu kurekebisha mambo pale. Umenifahamu? Lakini tunasema hivi, nyakati ambazo kumekuwa na mali ambapo hakuna utaratibu fulani. Nyakati ambazo unapokuja kuweka utaratibu, kuna watu lazima watateta, watalalamika kwa sababu wamezoea kufajika katika hali hiyo hali hiyo ya kutokuwa na utaratibu. Umeelewa? Kwa hivyo kuna watu watakupiga makelele kwa sababu hapo awali walikuwa wakipata labda kufaidika kwa njia moja au nyingine katika hali hiyo ya kutokuwa na utaratibu. Umeelewa? Sasa yeye amekuja na kila kitu kiwe sawa. Kama ni mambo hizi za tunasema contract, ni kwamba utaratibu ufuatwe. Yule mtu ambaye ako na uwezo atume maombi na akishinda apewe contract. Sio kwamba hizi tupatie watu fulani lakini hizi ziwe ni zetu. Hapana. Kitu kama hiyo James Orengo hataki.
Umezungumzia swala zuri sana kuhusiana na masuala ya matumizi ya kaunti mbalimbali. Labda Bwana Oguna, hawa manaibu wa magavana ama viongozi wengine kitambo waje waseme kwamba katika kaunti fulani kuna kitu kimefujwa, lakini si kuna tume ya kuchunguza maadili na ufisadi, kuna tume hizi za kukagua, mbona wasisubiri ripoti, wanaleta tu mfarakano?
Na ni kwa sababu unajua mwanzo naibu governor ni mtu ambaye ni mwandani. Yeye ni tunasema ni baadhi ya wale ambao wana uwezo mkubwa ya kupeana kama kuna tatizo fulani ya kupeana pendekezo. Kwa sababu yeye ako katika ile tunasema ni baraza la mawaziri. Ako mle ndani. Kwa hivyo kama kuna chochote ambacho kinaenda kibaya, badala kukimbia nao nje kupeana kwa vyombo vya habari, mitandao ya kijamii, inafaa ni kwamba aongee pale ndani na kusema kwamba jamani, kuna kitu kibaya. Maana kesi ni mwandani. Yaani baadhi ya wale ambao wamepewa uongozi ya kuweza kurekebisha ama kuendesha county. Sasa kukimbia nazo nje kwenye mitandao, kwenye vyombo vya habari, inamaanisha kwamba kuna nia tofauti na kutaka kurekebisha. Unielewa? Ndio.
Mtazamaji, si kauli yangu, ni kauli ya mkuu wa watumishi wa wafanyikazi kutoka kaunti ya Siaya, na vile vile pia aliyekuwa msemaji wa serikali, na vile vile pia aliyekuwa msemaji wa kikosi cha jeshi Kanali Cyrus Oguna, ambaye kwa sasa anavada lugha za kaunti ya Siaya kama mkuu wa wafanyikazi, tukizungumzia masuala ya uongozi na maendeleo, na zaidi ya yote tukipigia darubini Tanda Belua ambayo inakumba kaunti ya Siaya, na si Tanda Belua kubwa, ni kati tu ya gavana na naibu wake. Sehemu yetu ya kwanza ya Gumzo Pevu na Good Morning Kenya natamatikia hapa, ikiwa ni 26 dakika zimesalia iweze kutimia saa 3. Tutakaporudi tutakuwa tunaingia katika sehemu yetu ya pili ya mpango huu. Mtazamaji, endelea kutufuatilia kwenye mitandao ya kijamii. Kumbuka upande wa pili yupo mwenzangu Dora Manya. Mimi naitwa Rashid Momkondo. Pumziko fupi, tutakaporudi tutasonga mbele.
Jamani, unajifungia tangu jana. Mwenzako nsharudi hata salamu.
Dad, you know if there's something wrong, you could just tell me.
Yes, baby girl. I'm fine.
Habari za kombo?
Hayuko madam.
Wasiwasi wa nini sasa? Naweza kuwa hata yule ukweli tu. Ananipima akili.
I told you to stay away from this issue.
Pili is my best friend.
뭐 하는 거야 지금? 신부님이 먼저 꺼냈지. 아무튼 간에 나를 조져불고 싶으면 준비 잘해오셔. 그 신부 언제 어디서 태어나서 뭐하던 놈인지 싹 다 거둬, 알았어? 어? 예, 사장님. 가.
Why are you here?
Your dad called me. But the truth is that I'm really hoping I can win you over again.
Reynaldo, I told you to stop. How can you disrespect a woman like this?
Reynaldo, what is happening here?
No, I have to speak with Amparo.
You are never going to speak to Miss Amparo. What is it?
Isn't that the woman who Milena says is the lover of her father? Why is she here with Alonso? Not sure. I learned that you can expect anything from this wine.
But you haven't told me why you said that you would come with me.
I want you to tell me why you're here with this jerk.
Las Bandidas.
Barabara kabisa mtazamaji, mahali popote ulipo, asante sana kwa kuweza kuichagua runinga ya KBC Channel 1. Kipindi hewani ni Good Morning Kenya, na asante kwa kuichagua KBC Radio Taifa Sauti ya Mkenya. Kipindi hewani ni Zinga, na hii leo studioni mtazamaji tunayo bahati ya kukutana naye msemaji wa zamani wa serikali na vile vile pia kikosi cha jeshi, lakini kwa sasa mkuu wa watumishi wa wafanyikazi katika gatuzi la Siaya, ndugu kanali mstaafu wa jeshi Cyrus Oguna. Tukizungumzia nini? Masuala ya maendeleo na uongozi, na vile vile pia tukizungumzia juu ya kaunti ya Siaya. Turudi tena katika sehemu yetu ya pili. Bwana Oguna, kufikia mwezi jana serikali za kaunti hazikuwa zimepokea kitita cha shilingi bilioni 155 kutoka kwa serikali kuu. Jana naibu rais Rigathi Gachagua alikuwa na mkutano na magavana, na leo alikuwa anasoma kwamba treasury iko tayari ku-release hizi pesa. Nyinyi kama serikali ya kaunti ya Siaya mnamudu vipi kulipa miradi, kuendesha miradi na vile vile pia kulipa mishahara?
Swali nzuri sana hilo. Ni kwa sababu kwa miezi kadhaa nadhani kwamba kama miezi 4-5 kaunti nyingi hazijapata pesa, ikiwa pamoja na kaunti ya Siaya. Lakini tunafurahi sisi kama kaunti ya Siaya ni kwa sababu tunatumia mapato yetu ndani kwa ndani, alafu ile kidogo tunapata kutoka kwa serikali kuu ya kuweza kulipa wafanyikazi. Nadhani kwamba kuna kaunti kadhaa ambazo wafanyikazi wamegoma kwa sababu ya kutolipwa mishahara yao. Pia kuna mambo mengi yamesimama kwa sababu ya kutokuwa na fedha mahela. Lakini sisi kama kaunti ya Siaya tunasema kwamba hadi kufikia wakati huu hakuna mwezi ambao umepita bila wafanyikazi kulipwa, na tumefanya hivyo bila kuchukua mikopo kutoka kwa benki yote. Tumetumia fedha zetu zile ndani kwa ndani ambazo tunaokota ya kuweza kulipa wafanyikazi. Kidogo miradi inatatizika kwa sababu hiyo pesa kutotosha, na pia tunalipa ile tukipata kidogo tunalipa zile madeni za awali. Ile zile tunasema pending bills ambazo kwa sasa tumelipa karibu 62%. Ndio. Asilimia ya kuweza kwamba ili waweze kupata hela pia, ili kwamba mzunguko wa pesa katika county iweze kuwa sawa zaidi. Lakini kuna tatizo kwa ile la uhaba wa pesa kuweza kusaidia county kuendesha shughuli zao za kila siku.
Labda mmoja anajiuliza ni jukumu gani ama jukumu la nani kumaliza miradi iliyokwama? Je, kuna haja ya kuweza kutengwa pesa zaidi kwenye miradi ambayo haijakamilika?
Mimi naongea kuhusu county yetu ya Siaya. Na kile ambacho governor amepanga ni kwamba zile miradi ambazo hazijakamilika ni kwamba kutakuwa na tathmini ya kuangalia ni ina maana gani kusaidia wananchi kupata huduma, ili kwamba kuliko kuwa na miradi tuseme 8 na zote ziko nusu ama ziko katika hali ya kutomalizika, ni kwamba tuamue kati ya hizi 4 zipi ambazo zitakuwa ni sawa za kumalizwa kuliko kutafuta hela kwa hizo zote 8 alafu pia labda hazimaliziki tena. Kwa hivyo sisi tunafanya utathmini kuweza kuangalia ni kati ya zile ambazo hazijamalizika ni zipi ambazo zitasaidia kuweza kuboresha huduma kwa wananchi, alafu kisha tuzimalize katika hali ambayo ni bora zaidi. Naam.
Labda tukiingia katika masuala ya kitaifa na siasa, Je, uhusiano wa gavana wako Bwana James Orengo ama gavana wa Siaya na rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya uko vipi?
Nadhani iko sawa. Iko sawa, manake nakumbuka katika wakati ambapo rais alikuja Siaya, kipindi ambacho CS Owalo alikuwa na ile tunasema homecoming, alikuwa akikaribishwa nyumbani. Rais alikuwepo na pia governor alikuwepo, na wakaongea sana na kuhusu miradi za county na jinsi ambavyo serikali labda ingekuja kusaidia. Wakaongea kuhusu barabara, wakaongea kuhusu pia miradi za maji. Nadhani Simba iko nzuri. Ndio manake lazima huo uhusiano uwepo, ndio maendeleo yapatikane kwa karibu.
Kweli.
Naam.
Bwana Oguno, umehudumu katika serikali miaka 35. Unafahamu fika jinsi utendaji kazi wa serikali unavyokwenda. Labda je, unaona vipi mwelekeo wa serikali ya sasa katika masuala ya kiuchumi na uongozi kwa ujumla ukilinganisha na serikali iliyopita?
Nadhani kwamba kweli nimekaa kwa serikali kwa kipindi kile. Naelewa mambo mengi tu za kiserikali, lakini pia naelewa kwamba kuna matukio mengi dunia nzima ambazo zinachangia mambo ya hapa ndani. Nadhani katika kipindi ambacho kimepita kumekuwa na matukio mengi. Tumekuwa na vita vya Russia na Ukraine imekuwepo, na hapa nchini tumekuwa pia na shambulizi la wadudu wa nzige. Tumekuwa pia na COVID-19. Mambo haya yote yanachangia kuweza kufanya uchumi usiendelee vizuri. Kwa hivyo kipindi cha hapo awali mambo haya hayakuwepo. Unanielewa? So wakati Rais Uhuru Kenyatta alipokuwa akiondoka, mambo haya yote yakawa yapo. Kwa hivyo kile ambacho tunaona kwa sasa, nadhani kwamba tunasema nini ni effect ya vitu hivi vyote kuweza kuchangia, ambapo utakuta uchumi kidogo haifanyi vizuri kama ilivyokuwa hapo awali. Na ni kwa sababu ya mambo haya ambayo nimetaja, COVID, Ukraine and Russia kwa wanazozana, pamoja na shambulizi la nzige, alafu pia ukame mkali sana ambapo umekuwepo zaidi ya kama miaka 4 imepita. Kwa hivyo mazao na za shambani zimepungua, uhaba wa chakula upo. Mambo haya yote yakachangia kule uchumi kutofanya vizuri.
Kweli. Bunge la Kitaifa lilikuwa mapumziko, limerudia vikao vyake leo Jumanne, na Alhamisi itakuwa ni ile wenyewe wanasema kwamba mswada utakuwa unasomwa kwa mara ya pili, second reading, mswada wa kifedha mwaka 2023. Bwana Oguno, kule unakotoka watu wanasemaje kuhusiana na ono mswada na hususan na ile housing levy?
Nadhani kwamba kila mmoja hata sio kule natoka, nafikiri kwa ujumla tu wananchi wengi wanaomba kwamba ni kitu ambacho kingefikiriwa zaidi. Ni kama kitu ambacho kinafaa irudishwe nyuma, tuongee zaidi kama jamii.
Ndio.
Ni kwa sababu hali ya uchumi imekuwa ni mbaya zaidi. Gharama ya maisha imepanda juu. Tunapozidi kuongeza vitu vingine itakuwa ni sana hata juu zaidi. Nadhani kwamba kila mwananchi mahali alipo wanaomba tu kwamba serikali yao ambao wanaipenda iweze kuwa na fikra ya pili kuhusu mambo haya, kwa sababu mzigo unazidi kuwa mkubwa sana kwa kila Mkenya. Maana hata ile kitu tunasema take home, ile pesa nyumbani nayo nyumbani unaipata leo lakini kesho imeisha. Sasa kuna mzigo mwingine ambao utakuwa hapo juu. Inamaanisha kwamba hata ile mapato kwenda nyumbani itazidi kupungua. Kwa hivyo tunaomba tu kwamba, sio mimi, nadhani kwamba wananchi wote wanaomba kwa mchakato ungefikiriwa zaidi. Ndio.
Labda kabla kufungua laini za simu tumsikilize msikilizaji ana maswali gani. Pengine vijana ni uti wa mgongo wa taifa letu la Kenya. Nyinyi kama serikali ya kaunti ya Siaya mmeshughulikia vipi vijana katika masuala ya kikazi, masuala ya kidijitali, masuala ya kitaaluma?
Kweli ni kwamba vijana kwa nchi yote lazima iangazie masuala ya vijana. Na ni kwa sababu wao ndio wako na nguvu ya kufanya kazi na kuna ule uwezo kuwa wabunifu. Na pia ni wengi, umenielewa? Kwa hivyo sio hata county peke yake, lakini pia kwa serikali kuu mambo ya vijana, masuala ya vijana lazima yaangaziwe na ipewe kipao mbele. Pasipo hivyo basi kutakuwa na tatizo siku ambazo zinakuja. Sisi kama county kile tumeangazia masuala ya vijana sana, maana hata tukiangalia ile tunasema manifesto yetu tumeangazia masuala ya vijana sana, kuweza kuwasaidia kwa njia kuweza tunasema ile empowerment, kuweza kuwapatia basari ili waweze kusoma zaidi. Tunaweka kwa vikundi ile tunaita cooperatives wale waweze kupata mkopo, hasa vijana wa bodaboda wako kwenye cooperatives ambapo hapo wanapata mikopo ya wao kujiendeleza wenyewe. Pia tunatafuta njia ya kuweza kuwa na zile tunasema empowerment centers ambazo kwa kwa national government kuna counties ambazo ziko na empowerment centers katika maeneo fulani. Sia hizo empowerment centers bado haziko vizuri. Mnielewa? Kwa hivyo hata hiyo hali ya digitali kidogo haijashika sawa. Kwa hivyo tuna mpango ya kuweza kufungua empowerment centers nyingi na kushirikiana pamoja na county na national government kuweza kuleta kompyuta pale ili kwamba mambo hii ya digitali iweze kuenea zaidi katika county.
Sababu utakubaliana na mimi kwamba siku hizi digitali pia inaajiri, si lazima watu wote waandikwe county. Mtu anaweza pata.
Nadhani pia kama nyinyi waandishi wa habari na ni kitu ambacho mngependa labda ningeomba tu muweze kueneza kwamba sote tungependa, wengi wanapenda kazi ya kuajiriwa, ya kuja kwa ofisi kama kwa national government hata county government. Lakini sasa nadhani wengi ungependa kuwa tajiri. Nadhani katika maisha siku hizi ni kwamba unazaliwa leo na kesho mshakuwa tajiri. Njia ya kutajirika ni moja tu. Enda rudi wapi? Shambani. Manake ukiangalia chochote, dhahabu inatoka wapi? Kwa udongo. Hela inatoka wapi? Kwa udongo. Kila kitu inatoka kwa udongo. Kwa hivyo tunajaribu kuhimiza vijana tu kwamba tupende kilimo. Kwa hivyo kama kuna njia ya kuweza kufanya vijana waelewe kilimo, kuna kilimo aina nyingi. Mimi kuna wakati tulienda Kakamega tukakuta kwamba vijana wanafanya kilimo nyumbani. Yani kwamba akona ile tunaita fish pond kwa nyumba ndani tu. Yani akona rooms kama 3 lakini room moja ni sehemu ya kufuga samaki. Ni kilimo hiyo. Umeelewa? Kwa hivyo vijana wapate kuelewa kwamba kilimo ndio njia ya wewe kuweza kupiga hatua kimaendeleo. Tusiangazie kwamba lazima sote tupate kufanya kazi kwa KBC, lazima tufanye kazi kwa wizara fulani ya national government ama kwa county government. Kuna kazi nyingi sana pale. Na pia tunasema kwa sababu ya mtandao, mipaka yote yamevunjwa kwa hivi sasa. Inamaanisha kwamba utakuwa hapa KBC ama hapa Nairobi, lakini rafiki wako karibu yuko Ulaya. Wakati Arsenal imeshinda ama imeshindwa, kuna watu hapo wanatoa machozi Arsenal imepoteza. Kana kwamba Arsenal ni timu jirani tu. Hapana, ni kwa sababu mipaka imefanya nini? Imevunjwa. Kwa hivyo sisi sote tuko katika ulimwengu mmoja, tuko katika eneo moja sote. Kwa hivyo mtu ambaye akona uwezo na kitaaluma ya digitali anaweza katafuta kazi nje ya nchi akiwa wapi? Akiwa yuko hapa tu.
Kweli kabisa. Na mtazamaji, Bwana Oguna ametaja Sanali, nikakumbuka walijigamba wako on top of the table. Lakini mwisho wa kuisha lakini kwa sasa tufungue laini za simu angalau tuweze kupokea maoni ya msikilizaji, na nitaomba upande wa pili mwenzangu Dora kama unanipata labda tupate simu 3, na msikilizaji unapokuja hewani tafadhali uliza tu swali moja alafu tumpatie mgeni nafasi. Twende kazi Dora.
Shukran Rashid upande wa pili na mgeni wetu. Msikilizaji, nafasi ni yako, na ningesikia sana watu wa Siaya ningeshukuru. Tupate simu chache. Radio Taifa, halo.
Mtoto wa Afrika, jambo.
Si jambo. Radio Taifa, halo.
Hello.
Yes.
Hiyo ni Bernard Kituma kutoka Meru.
Yes.
Simu naona sinauliza msemaji wa polisi wa serikali wa zamani. Si anaona kuna umuhimu wa serikali hii iliyoko sasa ikusanye ushuru inapendekeza ili tupate pesa za maendeleo kwa county.
Asante sana. Masuala ya ushuru. Radio Taifa, KBC.
Nimerudi tena. Mtoto wa Afrika, ujambo?
Haya. Karibu.
Sasa ni mwenyekiti wa Ibeba huyu. Nauliza hivi.
Yes.
Waka James Junior huyu. Msalamia mgeni huyo. Namuuliza, amesema mambo ya kilimo huko Siaya. Na kilimo huko Siaya kinaendelea. Hii kufua pamba hii kiwanda, kiafufue kiwanda cha pamba ndio ili vijana wapate kazi kule.
Asante sana. Radio Taifa, KBC.
Hello, Mwamkondo.
Yes.
Habari asubuhi.
Salama.
Dola, salamia hao wataalamu wetu wako kwa studio.
Wamekusikia. Swali lako tafadhali.
Wewe naongea Gifam kutoka Vihiga County. Niko na swali moja ningependa kuuliza Mr. Oguna.
Naam.
Swali ndio hili. Wakati rais walikuwa kwa kampeni walikuwa wanasema ya kwamba in 90 days watakuwa wameweka uchumi wa Kenya kuwa chini kabisa, kwa ili mwananchi wa kawaida ile apate nafuu. Sasa hii ndio maisha walikuwa wanakuelezea kwa sababu hii uchumi umeenda juu sana.
Asante sana. Nyingine ya mwisho. Radio Taifa, KBC.
Hello KBC.
Yes.
Mimi ni Mwasaji ya kutoka sehemu ya Mechoki KC County.
Yes.
Nilikuwa nataka kuulizia huyo kama wako na mpango gani katika Siaya County ndio kutengeneza mambo workers, kuna ghost workers na wanaifanyaje ndio labda watoe ghost workers katika county?
Haya, Rashid, kwako kwa sababu ya muda anarejea kwako.
Na mimi kwa sababu ya muda pasi naipeleka kwake Bwana Oguna.
Asante sana ndugu Rashidi. Nadhani kwamba swali la kwanza ni swali inatoka kwa ndugu Bernard kuhusu umuhimu wa ushuru kuweza kusaidia kaunti wapate pesa nyingi ili waweze kuendelea kimaendeleo. Lakini ambacho nitasema ni kwamba ushuru, kila mwananchi lazima alipe ushuru. Hiyo ni kitu cha kawaida, maana serikali haina njia nyingine yote ya kuweza kupata hela japo ni ushuru kutoka kwa wananchi wake. Lakini pia kuna kiwango fulani, maana wale ambao ni wawekezaji lazima wawe na pesa ya kuwekeza. Na nadhani tumekuwa na hulka fulani kwamba mwekezaji lazima atoke nje. Hapana, kuna wale ni wawekezaji wa ndani kwa ndani. Nyakati ambazo kuna ushuru kubwa ambao wananchi wanatozwa, inamaanisha kwamba hawabaki na chochote chaweza kusaidia wao waweze kuwa wawekezaji ama kibinafsi ama kama kivikundi. Kwa hivyo lazima kuwe kuna kiwango fulani ya kuweza kutoza ushuru ili kwamba mwananchi aweze kubaki na yake ya kuweza kuwa mwekezaji ama ya kujiendeleza mwenyewe. Nyakati ambazo umetoza ushuru kubwa kwa wananchi, wanabaki hawana njia nyingine ya kuweza kujiendeleza kiuchumi na kimaendeleo. Swala la pili ilikuwa ni jinsi ya kuweza kuwa na kiwanda cha kusindika pamba. Na nimesema hapo awali kwamba baadhi ya mipango ambazo tuko nazo ni kuweza kuwa na kiwanda cha kusindika pamba ili kwamba vijana wapate kazi. Ilikuwepo moja hapo awali lakini ni mzee sana, ni kitu ambacho nafikiri hata Vasco da Gama alitumia na kabakisha iko pale. Na sasa sisi kama county tumesema kwamba kiwanda ambacho tutaweka pale ni kiwanda cha kisasa ambacho ina uwezo pamoja na kwamba itakuwa kitoa pamba na mambo mengi, lakini pia itakuwa na toa vitu ambazo zinaweza kuweza kutumika kama vyakula vya kuku, vyakula vya samaki kutoka kwa pamba. Na pia kuweza kuwa na ile mbegu ya pamba kuweza kufanya iwe nini? Iwe mafuta ya kupikia. Ni kiwanda cha kisasa na nadhani swali nzuri sana hiyo. Alafu swali nyingine ni kuhusu siku 90 ambapo serikali kuu ilikuwa imepeana ahadi kwamba kisha baada kuweka Biblia chini kila kitu kitashuka chini. Nadhani kwamba siku 90 bado tunasubiri tu. Kila kitu kitakuja
zimefika.
Tunasubiri manake ni ahadi, tunasubiri bana. Muda haujapita, tusubiri tu. Hata Yesu alisema na atarudi, tunasubiri. Ni kweli. Alafu huyo ndugu yetu ameuliza kuhusu ghost workers kwa Siaya. Kwa kweli sisi kumekuwa na utathmini uliofanywa. Na njia moja ya kuweza kugundua kama kuna ghost workers ni kwamba kila mmoja anakuja kuchukua cheki yake. Umenielewa? Yani kwamba cheki zinaandikwa, kila mmoja anakuja kibinafsi kuchukua cheki yake. Nadhani kwamba kuna cheki kama karibu 200 zilibaki ambazo hazikuchukuliwa. Inamaanisha kwamba ghost workers kama walikuwepo walikuwa ni kama 200 na wote wakatolewa. Kwa hivyo Siaya tunajivunia kwamba hatuna ghost workers zozote kwa sasa hivi. Wale ambao wanafanya kazi pale Siaya ni watu wako pale kulingana na katiba ya nchi.
Labda tukimalizia utaniruhusu kwa sababu muda wote kuanzia sasa tunastahiki kuelekea kule Gigiri ambapo kuna lile kongamano la Umoja Mataifa lililofunguliwa jana na rais linaendelea. Na nimemuona awali mama wa taifa Bi Rachel Ruto akiweza kuendesha baiskeli kutoka ikulu hadi maeneo yale. Tutakuwa tunakupeleka kule mtazamaji, lakini labda tukimalizia Bwana Oguna, je, unahisi kwamba kuna consensus yoyote itafikiwa kati ya gavana Orengo na naibu wake ili wazike hizi tofauti wachape kazi?
Nadhani kuna mambo mawili hapa. Kuna ule mchakato unaoendelea wa county government ya kuweza ya kumtimua
wa county assembly.
Ya county assembly, county government, county assembly, mchakato unaendelea. Na ningependa kusema ni mchakato ambapo sisi kama county government hatuhusiki. Maana ni wao wenyewe waliamua. Lakini tuseme kwamba kule kuweza kuongea na kuweza kuafikiana, nadhani nafasi hiyo bado ipo tu. Lakini nani ambaye atakuja kwa mwingine? Ndio swali kuu. Nadhani kwamba siku zote mimi nikiwa ni mzee alafu kuna mdogo fulani, mdogo wangu na nafaa kuona ni vizuri aje aniombe msamaha kwamba mkubwa wangu nimekosea, naomba nisamehe hivi na hivi, nilichanganyikiwa ama nilipotoshwa, nilielezwa vitu ambavyo sipo, nilikuwa na tamaa ya haraka, lakini sasa nimeona nuru, nimeona mwangaza, sasa naomba nisamehe ili tufanye kazi pamoja. Nadhani kwamba kule kuongea nafasi nadhani bado ipo tu. Umenielewa? Ndio. Kwa hivyo nafikiri kwamba ni labda mimi ningadhani tu busara ni kitu cha muhimu sana. Busara ikiwepo. Nadhani muda unapozidi kusonga labda ile dirisha inazidi kufungwa ama kujifunga. Kwa hivyo nadhani kwa sasa hivi dirisha na labda bado ipo, umeelewa, ya kuweza kuongea na kuafikiana. Lakini sasa nafikiri muda unapozidi kusonga dirisha inazidi kuwa ndogo na kuwa ndogo. Kwa hivyo nadhani busara ingeli kwepo kwa kipindi hiki ama kwa wakati huu ni kuweza kurudi na kusema kwamba nimekosea. Mimi nilikuwa nimetoroka, bila tunasema the prodigal son alirudi nyumbani. Unielewa?
Naam.
Asante.
Labda tu kamera yako hii hapa kwa sekunde chache. Hii ni stesheni ya kitaifa na mjadala ni wa kitaifa. Labda neno moja kwa Wakenya wanaokutizama na wanaokusikiliza wakati huu.
Mimi ningependa kusema tu kwa kweli kwamba sisi kama kaunti ya Siaya tungependa kuwa kielelezo kwa kaunti zote za nchi hii kwa njia ya kuweza kuchapa kazi na pia kueneza huduma kwa wananchi, huduma ambazo zinafaa na huduma ambazo kwa kweli zinasaidia kwa kuinua hali yao ya maisha. Kwa hivyo tupatie muda, ni bado ni asubuhi sana, ni miezi 8 tu. Na zile hatua tumepiga ni kubwa sana. Kwa hivyo kufikia mwaka 2027 tutakuwa tumefika mahali kubwa sana. Kwa hivyo tunaomba tu atupatie muda na tuunge mkono. Asante sana.
Bila shaka mtazamaji, kwa sababu ya muda, itifaki yote imezingatiwa kwa wote waliofanikisha kipindi hiki. Kwa niaba ya mwenzangu Dora Manya, mimi naitwa Rashid Momkondo. Kwaherini. Asante sana Bwana Oguna kwa kuja ndani ya studio, na tutazidi kuzungumza mengi kuhusiana na mambo ya kitaifa na vile vile pia mambo ya Siaya. Kwa sasa na uregesha moja kwa moja hadi katika studio zetu za KBC Channel 1 ambapo wenzangu wanaendelea na mchakato mzima wa Good Morning Kenya. Kumbuka tu mtazamaji, kipindi hiki ni cha aina yake katika taifa zima la Kenya kwa sababu ni kipindi cha kipekee ambacho kinakujia kupitia runinga na vile vile pia redio. Wale wengine wakianza watakuwa naiga kutoka jungu kuu. Kwaherini.
Why are you here?
Your dad called me. But the truth is that I'm really hoping I can win you over again.
Sir Reynaldo, I told you to stop. How can you disrespect a woman like this?
Reynaldo, what is happening here?
No, I have to speak with Amparo.
You are never going to speak to Miss Amparo. What is it?
Isn't that the woman who Milena says is the lover of her father? Why is she here with Alonso? Not sure. I learned that you can expect anything from this wine.
But you haven't told me why you said that you would come with me.
I want you to tell me why you're here with this jerk.
Las Bandidas. Welcome to East Africa. This is Safari Rally Kenya.
The WRC Safari Rally is set for June 22nd to June 25th in Naivasha. This year's event, the 7th leg of the WRC calendar, consisting of 19 stages, will see drivers, among them defending champion and series leader Khalid Vanpera, battle in what's considered as the toughest rally in the world. KBC Channel 1 will bring you the action to your living room, where a total of only 5 stages will be broadcast live on KBC Channel 1 and the Shakedown exclusive on our Facebook page. Catch the WRC Safari Rally on KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
After the dust settled on rigorous campaigns, Kenyans are waiting for elected leaders to deliver on their pledges.
Have you used the Hustler Fund?
When your children sleep hungry, when you can borrow 500 or 1,000 shillings and they have some food on the table.
So the 500 you're giving me now is my purchasing power has literally been diminished comparing to probably even January or December.
But how have the leaders performed so far?
In terms of the amount of money that is being disbursed, the minimum being 500 shillings, how do you scorecard that?
No, that I'll give it a 2 out of 5.
2 out of 5.
1 out of 5.
I'll still give it 5 out of 5.
Every week, we bring you an honest assessment of the national and county governments.
What is the impact of the Hustlers Fund?
There are people who borrow praying they don't have to pay back. For example, they pray that the owner dies.
The Scorecard, every Tuesday at 10 p.m. on KBC Channel 1.
We're talking about obesity. Thank you so much for sticking with us. We continue with this morning show right here on Good Morning Kenya. That was a very interesting conversation from KBC Radio Tafe. Now we shift gears into matters concerning your health. This is all about matters concerning your health. And even as we talk about that, we want to invite you to give us your feedback. But before that, I'm aware that there is a swearing in taking place where we have the Chief Justice Martha Koome, who is live, as you can see, looking into the swearing in of Dr. Chris Kipto. Let's take a listen into that particular process.
Heroes, when the state takes care of their welfare, we trust in your abilities to promote the goals that informed the establishment of the National Heroes Council, which is to celebrate our heroes in a manner befitting their contributions, and also to inspire the future generations to emulate that spirit. As you discharge your duties, I know you will always bear in mind that the position that you assume today is more than just the title or rank. It is a promise to our nation, a promise to uphold the ideals of our heroes, a promise to remember their sacrifices, and above all, a promise to ensure that their stories continue to shape the trajectory of our nation. Let us always remember that through their acts of bravery, sacrifices, integrity, and resilience, our heroes have made immense contribution to various facets and spheres of our nation, and that is indeed what makes the fabric of us all as a nation. They are our touchstones and our roadsters, guiding our progress and reminding us of the ideals upon which our nation is built. The National Heroes Council, therefore, must work towards coming up with ways and avenues through which we as a nation can pay homage to their courage, their sacrifices, and the indomitable spirit that has shaped the identity of our beloved nation. I urge the National Heroes Council to ensure that the stories of our heroes continue to inspire us, motivate us, and drive us towards a future that is vibrant and promising, as the heroes themselves did. To conclude, the oath of office which you have taken today, I believe will continue to guide you in your day-to-day work. According to that oath, you must never depart from the law. In addition, the oath equally requires you to serve this country to the best of your abilities, and always asking yourselves, what is the best interest for the people of Kenya and for the country? And bearing in mind that brings with it enormous responsibility for you to exercise your discretion always to do the right thing. I take this opportunity to wish you all well as you carry out your duties and responsibilities. May God bless you and continue shining His light upon you, and to keep inspiring you, to inspire others to be good citizens. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chief Justice.
Those are live pictures from the Supreme Court. Remember, this is the oath of office that has been presided over by the Chief Justice Martha Koome, presiding over the swearing in of Dr. Chris Kipto as the Principal Secretary. Remember, the National Treasury is a member of the National Heroes Council, and Mr. Charles Onyango Wambia, who is also as the Chief Executive Officer of the Council. That is a ceremony that was taking place at the Supreme Court this morning, being presided over by the Chief Justice, that is Martha Koome. Well, we shall keep tabs in regards to that particular proceeding. Remember, our news team is bringing up to speed that particular bulletin in the subsequent news features that we shall be having at 1 p.m. and at 7 p.m., notwithstanding also 9 p.m. Well, now let's shift gears into matters concerning health. As I mentioned earlier on, we now talk about you. Obesity is the conversation, obesity and metabolic syndrome. What is obesity? How can you tell that you are obese? Is it possible to have home remedies that treat obesities? What about the concoctions that we know some of us make? When you walk in different offices, there's always going to be that particular lady that has a bottle that is full of Majandimu. Let's talk about that particular conversation, obesity and metabolic syndrome. Even as we handle this morning, I am with Dr. Boniface Onsongo. He is a founder of Stable Health Foundation. Daktari, karibu sana.
Asante sana.
And
my brother?
Yes.
Ram.
Yes.
Your name is a good one. Yeah.
Unique one.
A unique one.
Thank you.
So I'm Dr. Nsongo Boniface, as you rightly put it. I'm the founder of Stable Health Foundation, the medical officer at Equity Afya Group of Medical Centers based in Kitengela and South B, Equity Afya branches.
And there is there are so many people that can talk about this topic. You are one of them, qualified to handle this. Daktari, yes. I want us to go basic. This conversation needs to be as basic as possible because many Kenyans want to understand this conversation about obesity. Yes. Just from the ground level, what is obesity?
Thank you, my brother. Obesity, in a simple manner, means excessive or abnormal accumulation of fat in your body that can impair your health. That's the simplest definition.
So if how can I know that I am obese? You said accumulation of fat in the body.
Yes.
Everyone has fat in their body.
Yes. It's now it's excessive or abnormal is when it becomes obesity or overweight, which are two different things. Okay. So how to know it will now come us to try and as doctors to be able to estimate a probability of you being overweight or obesity by doing what we call a BMI, which is the simplest calculator for an adult population. That is, people are not children. We use BMI as a simple estimate to know whether somebody is overweight or obese.
So, you said that there's a difference between being overweight and being obese.
Yes. So the difference is simple. First, we have said by a simple definition, is excessive or abnormal accumulation of fat in your body that can impair your health. So by that definition, it tells you that there is no more cholesterol, there is no more fat when it becomes abnormal. So by now looking at the difference between overweight and obesity is we narrow down to our discussion to what we call a basic metabolic index, which is a BMI, which is an estimate probability of somebody being their weight not normal. So the normal value should be 18.5 to 24.99. So that means I take your weight, I take your height, your weight should be in kg, your height should be in centimeters. So I take your weight, I divide your height in now I convert it to meters, I square that. We'll maybe demonstrate that for you to understand better. But now by comparing your weight and height, this will give us your BMI value. Your BMI value, if it's 22, that means you are normal. If it's 26, that means you are above 25. So 25 to 30 is overweight. And above 30
is overweight.
And above 30 is obese. And obesity is now grade 1, 2, kuelekea hivyo. There are those who are above 30, we start also classifying them. But anybody above 30 BMI is obese. That's what we call obesity now.
So regardless of your height,
yes,
it must be below 25.
Regardless of your height, because the BMI is an indicator of your height and weight.
Yes. So regardless of your height.
Regardless of your height, because height must be tallied with weight.
Okay.
That's how you calculate the BMI. So somebody can be 70 kg and is overweight. Another one is 90 kg and is normal weight. What value of height comes in as a factor because it's a measure of your weight and height compared.
And 100 kgs you can be a normal weight.
If you are very tall. Yeah, so that's why now we do the BMI, is that we want to compare your height and weight.
So obesity is the extreme level of being overweight. So
yes.
So if you are overweight, there is no cause of alarm.
Overweight also. It's good I clarify this, Bwanaram.
Yes.
Overweight doesn't mean you are normal. It means your weight is above your height.
Yes.
Now it is also called pre-obese. That means you are at risk of obesity. Now overweight on its own has also problems with your health. It can give you some complications.
Okay.
So not only must you be obese for us to discuss, we start the discussion from a BMI of above 25. The conversation starts from 25.
So the conversion starts from 25.
Yes.
From the point where you're overweight to the point where you're obese.
Exactly.
And there is this particular term that we are indicating on our screen this morning.
Yes.
Metabolic syndrome.
Yes.
Let's define that also.
Metabolic syndrome, and it's a big issue that Kenyans must know this. Metabolic syndrome is a cluster of conditions. Now, this definition, according to the medical books, is a cluster of conditions in which there are 4 parameters involved. 1, you have elevated cholesterol or triglycerides in your blood. That means you have excess fat in your body in a simple way. That's the first parameter. Parameter number 2, on a definition, is that you have excessive or an increase in your waist circumference, which means you have adiposity around your waist. So that's what we call kitambi in simpler way. So that is the factor number 2 in metabolic syndrome. Number 3, the first and second have a potential to lead you to the third, what we call elevated blood pressures, my brother.
Is that the one that we normally call as high blood pressure?
Exactly. Now the last one in this metabolic syndrome is what we call elevated blood sugar. And I will tell you, Ram, shortly, that cholesterol and waist circumference, what we call obesity, has been contributing to the biggest causes of diabetes and hypertension in Kenya today. Because through metabolic syndrome, the definition is that this metabolic cluster of diseases occur together as a complex. So that's why we have to have that conversation on how obesity can lead you to hypertension and diabetes and their complications. These 2 diseases have also their complications. High blood pressure can lead to stroke, heart attack. So it might start from as early as obesity, which complicates to come into the complex, and the pressure elevation can lead you to another issue. So that's what we are conversing about.
Wow. Today, Daktari, you're making many people to be glued to their screens because you're mentioning things that some of us are afraid of. I was looking at my ladies here who are operating the camera. You can see one.
I can see the physically, externally, okay.
But
we might need to do...
They're touching their stomach. They're holding it. Wondering what's the problem.
That's okay. That's why we are here. As a doctor, I'm here to ensure I'm championing wellness. As a doctor, our work is to educate you on prevention of diseases. So today we are here, and after this we'll be able to talk to them and see how best can they maintain a normal BMI. That's our focus.
My director is also a lady. She's telling me kwa masikio, wacha tumbo zetu. Many ladies struggle with that.
Lazima tuziangalie. You see, there's this quote, they say that urefu ni kuzaliwa nayo. Lakini mimba na kitambi ni effort yako. Tutaongea hiyo. Haya, tuendelee.
So many feedback I'm getting from people here.
Yes.
Let me get to understand this.
Yes.
Is there a particular type of food that I can eat that can make me to become obese or to have metabolic syndrome?
Thank you. The question you're asking is a very important one to take the Kenyans to understand what to call risk factors now.
Yes.
And apart from food, of course, I will mention other factors. Now, in risk factors for overweight and obesity, I normally look at it from this way. One, those who you can modify and those you can't modify. So you say modifiable risks and non-modifiable risks. Risk is something that predisposes you to a condition.
Yes.
So in obesity and metabolic syndrome, we can put them to categories. Now, on modifiable, diet is one. Diet and unhealthy eating behaviors.
Okay.
So intake of excess calories. People think that it's about meat, nyama choma. It's about the calories you take in a whole day, combined with other diet habits that will accumulate in the body. For example, Bwana Ram, as a gentleman, you need about 2,500 calories in a day for you to function. A lady, about 2,000. So let's say a normal human being should take 2,000 to 2,500 calories.
Yes,
in a day. So the food that will help you to develop obesity or overweight that will accumulate to that is when you take those calories in excess. So you come out of here, you take some fries, you take some chapatis, ugali, mukimo, ngwashe, fruits. You are taking right foods maybe, but you are taking excess of calories. And if it's 4,000 calories or 3,000 calories, the excess you have taken are stored under what we call adipose tissue. Mark the word adipose tissue. That's science, but you must know it.
I remember that from my biology.
Exactly.
Adipose tissue. Are they within the...
Below the skin.
The skin?
Yes. So you have taken 7 chapatis. One is used. The excess, which you are above the calories you need, are converted to adipose tissue through your liver. That excess will accumulate to give you abnormal fat accumulation, which now we call obesity, which is part of the metabolic syndrome. So on that diet, there is also taking cholesterol and fat.
Like that, you are really offending many people. You are offending many people.
Yes.
Ngwashe, chapati. Let me understand.
Those foods are very good, Ram.
They are good.
They're very
but
good.
How can I ensure that I stick within the 2,000 to 2,500 calories?
So that will take you to get the knowledge, understanding. For example, I advise all Kenyans to be able to, there's a chart which I normally share, and I think we'll do this sharing, so that you learn this food I'm taking, how many grams or milligrams of calories it contains. So that in a day, you don't need to start measuring Bwana Raham, but you can estimate. Through now a nutritionist and maybe a doctor, you can be able to go through your diet, what we call a menu.
So it's okay to take these chapatis and the guashes. They are okay as long as you take them proportionately.
Exactly.
Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. And in this proportionately, let me give you a simple way to know it.
Yes, make it simple.
There's a plate we call Eat Well plate. Eat Well plate is also found in what we call Harvard diet plan or Dash diet plan. An Eat Well plate, RAM means this. Your plate should be vegetables and fruits. Should I repeat again?
Repeat it.
Half of your plate should be fruits and vegetables.
A half of every meal or a half of a particular meal?
Every meal.
Every meal. Breakfast, lunch, supper.
So taking chai, mkate, asubuhi without fruits and vegetables, you are already reducing your probability of getting a half during the whole day. So half every meal is advisable to be fruits and vegetables. Asubuhi matunda, na hiyo ingine carbohydrates, na protein. Now the other thing I need to mention is this. In this, a quarter remaining should be proteins. And the other quarter carbohydrates. Now the culture of Kenyans, and I'm sorry to say I'm one of the Kenyans, is that we take a half to be ugali or carbohydrates, another quarter to be protein, a quarter to be vegetable. So we reverse the Eat Well plate plan. That is scientific.
Say it again now, Dr.
Yes.
In a full plate, every single meal, when you sit down, whether breakfast, lunch, or supper, a half of it is
vegetables and fruits.
Write that down.
Actually, nutritionists write that it should be 5 portions. Mark this: 5 portions, and a portion is equivalent to your feast.
Your feast.
So that means 5 portions of vegetables and fruit the whole day. That's why in the morning,
let's go back to the circle.
Let's go back to the circle.
It will make someone understand this thing better.
That's okay.
A half of it, vegetables and fruits. A quarter,
proteins.
And a quarter, carbohydrates. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've written that down.
Yes.
Now, there is a question that is being asked by my dear Joy Ndegwa. She's asking, but there are people who eat, and they eat a lot. Sometimes you may say in excess, but they are always slender or skinny. And we know those friends. Akule vipi, hata nona.
I wish I could demonstrate them. I have the pictures here. So it's important to have that conversation, Bwana Reham, because there is now what we call, apart from the diet, which I've mentioned is modifiable.
Yes.
The other modifiable is exercise RAM. Which we cannot discuss. You must exercise 30 minutes a day or 250 a week. Now, these are the non-modifiable factors. The non-modifiable factors are now what leads to some people who are not eating and they are still accumulating weight, and those, they eat less foods but they accumulate weight, and some who eat a lot of food and they don't accumulate weight. So the cause on that
Yes, the
cause on that is now what we call genetic and endocrine factors. Metabolically, Bwana Raham,
yes,
there are metabolic factors that can affect how much you control your calories. The metabolic factors. So somebody will be metabolically breaking down calories at a higher rate than somebody else.
What causes that?
It's you are born with that metabolic rate.
It's just how your body is.
Just how your body is. Another thing is genetics. For example, there's what we call congenital leptin deficiency. Let me mention this, so that somebody is born with a condition that causes severe obesity beginning in early stages because they are born without a hormone called leptin. So this has nothing to do with eating and exercise.
So if someone is obese or overweight, it doesn't mean they have a problem. Or there's something wrong with them. It could also be a problem that came from the time that they were born.
That's probability. But the good news to tell Kenyans is that somebody could be exposed to that genetic or metabolic exposure, but the diet and exercise, among other risks that you can modify, contribute to worsen the condition. For example, if you are born with the congenital leptin deficiency and you are eating junk foods as a child, that exposes you to be at a more risk to develop overweight and obesity. So there's that part of genetics, but genetics is combined with the modifiable risk factors, make the condition to be in a worse state. Yes.
So you are answering that question of those who eat, but they are always slender.
Yes.
My director is telling me to give an example of Okinyi. Together with my brother Phineas. Their body has been, over the many years I've seen them, over 5 years, they don't increase, they don't reduce, they're just there. So you're saying it's just how their body is.
Yes. Metabolically.
It's their metabolic rate.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
All right. Now, what about, because you've mentioned a very interesting point there, what about children and parents? You would realize that there are parents that every time they come home, the child will make a request. Please, bring home something sweet. Bring home something nice. Or every weekend, the parent must take their child out to town, or they will bring them some chips or fast food. Is that risky?
Quite risky, I will say, because I come from an understanding as a doctor of a worrying trend that shortly thereafter, 2016 backwards, the rate of overweight and obesity in Kenya was quite low, to less than 20%, Bwana Ram. And today, we are talking about the rate has increased to an average of 40%, which means in urban populations, which the population we are talking about, it's actually 60%. 60% of adults in an urban setup could be overweight, which is contributed because of what you are saying, a child commanding you to say, bring me these sweets, bring me this kind of food, bring me these fries, bring me this sweet pizza. So pizza, when you combine all those things, Bwana Raham, the child is eating excess of the calories they need in a day. So we call that a theory we call obesogenic.
But you can't say, is it possible to argue that this particular child, even as they are taking a lot of these fast foods, they are playing outside, they go outside, they jump and
that explains why the same child is not diagnosed of hypertension. But look at it this way. Is not diagnosed of hypertension because they are exercising. When they are in the university, the timetable is tight. When they are 30 years at work, They're very busy. They go home to sleep for 6 hours. That's what they were taking when you were feeding them at year 10, year 8, year 9. Bwana Ram starts to catch with them at the old age. And this is the risk now. Why? Even a kid, as much as they exercise, you will need to educate them to be healthy. And I love what we used to do in high school. What time were you eating your last meal in a day in high school?
The last meal?
Yes.
In high school, I was in boarding, so different schools have different...
I want that. The last meal was by what time? The latest.
6 p.m.
6 p.m. Why was that important? So that by 6 p.m. you have eaten your last meal, your body is metabolizing the food through overnight. Now you allow your kid at home to eat at 11. Which is dangerous. And at 11, the kid is eating excess calories.
What is the latest time somebody should eat?
I will advise Kenyans to do what the high school was doing, because teachers are very intelligent people.
So eat by 6. After 6, don't eat anything.
If you must be late, then maybe by 8, by 7.
What if I have the munchies? You know, sometimes you feel like you want to eat something.
That is why
a midnight snack.
That is why obesity has increased to 40% Bwana Ram, because of that mentality. And that is why, as doctors, we are focusing our attention. As wellness champions, we must educate Kenyans that it's about mindset. You must change your mindset, Bwana Ram, to say that I have to eat this time, I have to eat this kind of meals, I have to exercise, I have to drink this amount of water to reduce your energy intake, and also, Ram, to increase your expenditure. By the way, you can reduce your intake to 2,000, but you are not increasing your expenditure. So you don't exercise, but you eat. You don't exercise, but you eat, which is also dangerous. So as much as we reduce what you are eating not to be excess, you must also increase your output by exercising daily for 30 minutes, Bwana Ram, as high schoolers, as small kids do, because that's why these diseases that complicate by overweight and obesity come in old age. So it's important to look at that also.
Wow. I'm really wondering how Kenyans are surviving lately. Now, there is a question of intermittent fasting.
Yes.
Is that a solution? There are many Kenyans that are talking about mixing concoctions. Yeah, you know of them, Dakari. I know you've heard of them. You take some lemon and some ginger and many things, and they're mixed, and they drink these concoctions throughout the whole day as a form of slimming themselves, or it helps determine your obesity. I want you to respond to that question after this break.
Thank you.
You'll tell me whether these things work.
We'll come to that.
Yeah?
Thank you so much.
This is Good Morning Kenya. Stick around for this. I know you love it. I sure do.
Why are you here?
Your dad called me. But the truth is that I'm really hoping I can win you over again.
Sir Reynaldo, I told you to stop. How can you disrespect a woman like this?
Reynaldo, what is happening here?
No, I have to speak with Amparo.
You are never going to speak to Miss Amparo. What is it?
Isn't that the woman who Milena says is the lover of her father? Why is she here with Alonso? Not sure. I learned that you can expect anything from this
But
wine.
you haven't told me why you said that you would come with me.
I want you to tell me why you're here with this jerk.
Las Bandidas.
Ya jamani, najifungia tangu jana. Mwenzako nsharudi hata salamu.
Dad, you know if there's something wrong, you could just tell me.
Yes, baby girl. I'm fine.
Habari za kombo?
Hayuko madam.
Wasiwasi mwa nini sasa? Naweza kuwa hata yule ukweli tu. Ananipima akili.
I told you to stay away from this issue.
Pili is my best friend.
경찰 끼고 다 지옥 가는겨. 예? 죽여.
뭐 하는 거야 지금? 신부님이 먼저 꺼냈지. 아무튼 간에 나를 조져불고 싶으면 준비 잘해오쇼. 그 신부 언제 어디서 태어나서 뭐 하던 놈인지 싹 다 거둬 알았어? 어?
예, 사장님.
가.
Thank you so much for sticking with us. My director is really playing with my name. My name is Ram Aguko. Thank you so much if you've just joined us this morning in Kenya. And today we are talking about matters concerning obesity and metabolic syndrome. I'm with Dr. Boniface here. We are talking about these issues, and I love the fact that you are engaging with me. Dr. There are so many questions that are coming through my my end. And this is Jane. Jane is asking a question here. Let me just get it. Yes. What can I do as a lady to reduce my tummy? That's a question. I don't know if that one is connected to this particular
connected
discussion.
To prevention and management.
Prevention and management.
As we are discussing shortly.
Yeah? You will address that.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Now, even as we talk about this, I invite you, wherever you are. The hashtag is Good Morning Kenya at Ram Maguko, which is my handle, and at KBC Channel 1. Talk to me. Do you have any questions concerning obesity and metabolic syndrome? What are your struggles? Let's get the solutions today instead of you going out there and being misled. Daktari.
Thank you.
That's true.
Asante sana Bwana Ram.
I want us to handle this particular area. Yes. So what if someone is saying, you know what, Daktari, I'm comfortable with my body. I'm okay with how I am. And there are those who go around saying, I'm okay with my stomach, I'm okay with my weight, I have no problem. Why should we be worried about obesity?
Thank you, Banram. A very important conversation. They say my body, my choice.
Back then it was my dress, my choice.
Now it's
today we can twist it a bit. My body, my choice.
My body, my choice. Your body, your choice in medical terms is not a very good thing because your body is not your choice. Your body will engage doctors and medical fraternity to support it. For us to converse this issue today, it's because it's becoming a major concern. But it's important I mentioned to you, Ram, that in some countries like South Asia, the 2016 research showed that less than 0.1% were overweight. That means less than 1 person in 100. So that means the entire, you walk in South Asia today, people will be normal weight and height. At the same time, Samoa, urban Samoa, 75% were overweight. Now in Kenya, why should we be worried about obesity? One, we have realized that as obese cases or as the overweight cases increase in numbers, some diseases that are associated with metabolic syndrome become more common. Already we have mentioned about high blood pressure, diabetes. Now those two are not even a major concern to me because the complications that come with those two is what is worrying. One, for example, is heart diseases and stroke. Today we have seen even young people below 36 years developing a heart attack, developing heart complications, developing cardiovascular risks. We have seen old people in 50s developing varicose veins, numbness. These things could be accumulating because from metabolic syndrome we saw that obesity is also related to excessive fat. And when fat accumulates in your blood vessels, in a punguza, it reduces how your blood is circulating. The other complication is type 2 diabetes, which I've mentioned in the definition, that when you have excess cholesterol, which is due in many people who are overweight, that cholesterol in 40 years, 50 years, when we are older, we start developing resistance to insulin. And for your information, insulin is what makes us to control our sugars. So when you resist it by having excess fat in your blood vessels, you develop type 2 diabetes. The other thing is certain cancers. We have seen ovarian cancer, breast cancer, and before cancer, remember, there's what we call benign tumors. Like fibroids.
I've heard of it. Yes.
When I was back in university 2017 there, 2016 backwards, in my 5 years of practice, I've come to learn what I learned in campus makes sense because we were told that, for example, fibroids, there are 4 risk factors. They're called 4 Fs. 4 Fs. One of the F is fertility, the second F is being female, and the third F is fats. The fourth F I will not tell you because you have not paid school fees, but I will come to tell you next time, Bwana Ram.
I will pay school fees.
But the first 3 Fs, you have seen fat there. So that means fibroids is increasing in numbers because ladies are accumulating more fat among the other risks like gender and the fertility that have also been associated with that thing.
So being a female...
Yes, of course, that's gender. You can't modify. That is a risk. Yes. But now they are modifiable like fat and the ones I've mentioned. There are also some digestive problems, sleep apnea, osteoarthritis. We grew up in villages where people, some of our older relatives, and maybe neighbors, even in high school, you walk to a dormitory and your neighbor is snoring at night like a generator. Baka na change gear, Bwana Ram. Ukiangalia watu sana wengi wao walikuwa ni overweight and obese because they are not able to breathe normally. So we call it sleep disturbances. So they snore the whole night. So that's another complication. They are changing gears
for the whole night.
And the other complication is stress and mental health, Bwana Ram. Some people, when they are overweight, they don't akili yao iko stable, especially after birth. A lady delivers today, anakuwa na ile tunaita tumbo kanaitwa poti. There's a name they call, ladies know. And some of them are mentally disturbed to even cause what we call postnatal depression. And one solution to support this community is to ensure they are physically fit so that they can bring back their body after they have delivered 5 kids.
But not, Dr. I'm looking at this lady that is pregnant today.
Yes.
She is going to add weight.
Yes.
Because of the pregnancy. Now she's no longer eating for 1, she's eating for
2. Very true.
So how can she ensure that she's okay in terms of her health and her weight, because they still need to eat?
That is where we come in. Nurses, doctors, nutritionists, your antenatal profile practitioner, so that we are able to educate you and give you a guideline on which foods and which quantities. It's not about the type of food, but the manner, the time, and the amount you eat. So they can eat foods that can give their kids nutrition, that can give them enough breast milk, Bwana Ram, but at the same time be good amounts that will not predisposing them to develop overweight and obesity. So it's not about them stopping to eat, and I am not advocating for people to go and say I'm not eating because I want to cut weight. That is very dangerous. Actually, it's a mental disorder.
What about intermittent fasting?
It's a part of the discussion in prevention where we talk about the first point on prevention is nutrition. Where you reduce the intake.
So if I choose not to eat for like a day or 2, and then I proceed on the 3rd day, is that good for me?
It's something that you have really to sit down with your doctor, because it's also dangerous to take 2 days without eating. Then when you eat the 3rd day, you compensate, Bwana Rem. So you are compensating the days you never ate, so that you eat excess, which becomes more dangerous. Afadhali ungekula hizo mbili, because the excess you will eat day 3 will accumulate in your belly. So intermittent fasting is a medical method that is used to manage, prevent, and even other diseases, but it must be done professionally, Bwana Rem.
Now, Dr.
And there's a formula that I can share for the purpose of the audience. Is that there's a 0-8 formula. But you have to look what you can tailor make to your side, where you eat at maybe 9 a.m., then you wait for 8 hours. At around 5-6 p.m., you take your next meal, then you wait mpaka asubuhi. That means you allow your body 12 hours of metabolism and digestion.
Meaning you will be eating twice a day?
But not daily. You choose with guidance from a qualified nutritionist or a qualified doctor to give you that formula, so that you are not also affecting your body by having undernutrition. As you avoid overnutrition, don't subject yourself to undernutrition. It's very dangerous, more than all of them are dangerous. So try to balance, not to go undernutrition or overnutrition.
But at the end of the day, you're saying it's important for you to visit a nutritionist, see a doctor, get advice. But now I'm looking at this individual you mentioned. When they're sleeping, they change gears as they snore from gear 1 to gear 2.
Gear 4, 5, wanafika 10.
But there's the aspect of sweating.
Yes.
Excessive sweating.
Yes.
At night when you're asleep.
Yes,
or sometimes we could be sitting like this, but someone is really sweating.
Exactly.
And they're just seated.
Yes.
No work done.
They are not even talking.
Is that a problem? They're not even talking.
But it could be a problem. But now we have to look at it in so many aspects. Maybe it's they are sick, they have infections, so they're having excess temperature release, ile tunasema fever and chills. But if they are not having any metabolic disorder, and they're excessive sweating, especially in obese people overweight, there's that probability. So, but it's nothing that we can say if somebody is sweating, these are the problems. So there are also people who wakona mikono inakuwa tu maji throughout hata wakiwa wadogo. So this question must be addressed on an individual basis. After we do what we call risk assessment and analyzing what could be potentially causing your symptom.
Even at instances where someone is asleep at night, during the day they are okay, but when they sleep at night they sweat a lot.
Yes,
that's an individual
basis, and partly it could be led because of the same metabolic syndrome that we are discussing in most cases.
What about concoctions? Do we have certain foods or home remedies that prevent obesity?
Yes, they are there, and we have so many of them. And when I talk about concoctions, I want you to remember that it's important, the members and the audience, to know that these concoctions and herbs, they must work in line to what conventionally is acceptable. So look at this Bonaram as an example, because you're asking about our nutrition. Yes. And our nutrition, our basis is on reducing the intake of calories and increasing the output by the concoctions. They are all like, let me take ginger. I do ginger routinely 3 days a week. Ginger in the morning. Sometimes I put garlic and turmeric.
Are you saying that as an example or something? That
I do it.
Oh, you do it?
Yes, I put honey, ginger, and lemon.
Every morning?
Every morning, but not daily, because I alternate it with other juices, other health juices. This is beneficial because the concoction I'm making in the morning, that is honey, ginger, and lemon, helps me to be able to stay healthy, because the ginger has an aspect of lowering the cholesterol levels.
What about stomach acidity? Because I'm trying to get...
Now, for stomach acidity, we also manage it separately, which is a conversation room for another day.
That's
you
another
can invite me.
But I'm talking about,
for example,
now,
some people take sukuma wiki and they complain of stomach upset. The problem is not sukuma wiki, is your stomach. Because the same sukuma wiki is what somebody took up and they're okay. So we need to look at if something's beneficial, what can work for you? And that what cannot not work for you, how do we help you that it's not affecting your stomach upset and among other things. So on that aspect of concoctions, they're there. There's this what we call green tea, herbal teas, Chinese herbal teas.
Are they good?
Some of them are good, but I will caution Kenyans. The problem is not about them. The problem is how we use them. Because if you overutilize them in the expense of thinking that by taking concoctions, you don't need to exercise, you don't need to stop eating a lot of calories, you don't need to measure your fat content in a day, that becomes the risk now. So, yes.
I have a friend that likes taking this dawa.
Dawa? Dawa is the one I've mentioned, ginger, honey, and citrus fruit.
And I'm looking at dawa. Is that something that if I take every single day, let's say once a day, is it good for me or toxic?
It's good for you, but don't overtake it. There's a mention in lifestyle disease management I call moderation or temperance. Moderation is an aspect in which, even if something is healthy, if we overdo it, it becomes risky.
Toxic.
Yes. So everything has to be done in measurable amounts.
Now, I'm looking at the question that was asked before by this lady here. The problem with the tummy, they want to reduce their tummy.
Thank you.
You can advise her on that.
So we are looking at it in two ways.
Yes.
One, we want to prevent progression of the tummy. Number two, we want to manage the tummy. So let me start with managing the tummy. It's easier. In medical practice, in management of obesity and overweight, we look at it by one, reducing the intake of calories to a measurable amounts. If a lady you need 2,000, kindly we need to work up and advise you the foods you take in a day. We try to estimate and so that you don't take excess. Number two, after we manage the intake of calories, there's what we call eat well plate, which I advise Kenyans to research about. Eat well plate. It's a plate in which the calories taken are adequate. At the same time, the food you are eating in a day is not giving you malnutrition. So you have a food where there's fruits and vegetables in excess, which is half of your food in a day. Half a plate per sitting should be fruits and vegetables. A quarter should be proteins. A quarter should be carbohydrates. Bwana Ram, that means when you do that, you are trying to ensure you are getting the proteins and carbs you need as minerals. At the same time, you are preventing excess fat and calories intake so that you don't accumulate excess energy. Number 2, which is simpler, is increase your expenditure by exercising 30 minutes a day if you are not obese or overweight. If you are obese, you increase this to 45 minutes to 90 minutes per day.
Exercise 30 minutes a day if you're not obese, and if you're obese, 45 to 90
minutes a day. That's according to the nutrition and dietitian guideline globally. That is there, 1,000 pages. It's evident that 45 to 90 minutes helps people who are obese to reduce their weight. And after they gain the weight, the desirable weight, they have to continue to avoid regaining the weight back
that they lost before.
Yes. That, how can you achieve that, Ram, in a simple way? Daily, ruka kamba, ndesha baiskeli, weekend, enda swimming. For men, we love football. Ensure you do 7-a-side, 2 hours of football, intense exercise. Go to the gym, do a treadmill, intense. Should be intense. Walking for 2 kilometers, unatembea tu pole pole, is not moderate to intensity. It's good for your healthy, but you must supplement it with intense exercises that can make you sweat so that you can burn calories.
So these exercises can also help with reducing belly fat.
Exactly.
Okay.
As you do that, ensure maybe it could be genetic. So as a doctor, I can assess the risks. If it's leptin deficiency, which is congenital, there's a drug, Bwana Ram, that is used to manage that, so that you are given what you are missing to ensure your body is metabolizing calories. If it's an issue to do with gender, you cannot change your gender.
You cannot.
If it's issue to do with the obesogenic environment, which is an environment that is exposing you to a lot of food, we advise you to work with a group so that you're able to learn how best can you be in an environment you can eat healthy foods. The other thing on prevention is, as you look at it, on management, if it's obese class 2-3, that means BMI of more than 35, we have surgical methods we use in hospitals conventionally. We have balloon therapy that has been conventionally used and globally started, whereby your balloon inaeko kwa tumbo, it reduces your stomach size or the size of the space that you are supposed to accommodate food, which reduces your appetite centers, so that you are not stimulating to eat excess food. And back to the juices, the concoctions are not bad things. It's only that we need to know the measure of the green tea, the measure of the ginger, the garlic, and don't mix so many concoctions that you make even something that is very toxic
for your body.
I've seen patients in our wards who come with liver toxicity.
Wow,
and
because
some
of the things they've been drinking.
Some of them have gone to these streets and they're picking herbals all over in the name of weight management, and they come with liver toxicity. So it's important to know what you call moderation, Bwana Ram.
Also, you need to be careful about the things you buy on the streets.
Exactly.
I have a question here from Ben.
Yes.
He's saying, kindly ask Dr. about heartburn, especially when you take certain types of food and drinks.
I'm not sure whether I mention it in 1 minute, because it's a topic of all time, but I can mention something.
I know that one is a whole conversation.
It's called GERD. Gastroesophageal reflux disease. That means you have a gastritis, which is acidity that is in your stomach, and that acidity can also cause ulcers. Now when the acidity goes to the esophageal region, we call it GERD. It's a reflux. And that happens for so many reasons, and there are more than 10 factors that have been associated to increase your risk for that acidity.
But can this affect the type of food, the meal plan you are having as you're trying to moderate your body and your obesity and trying to remain healthy?
It can affect. And actually some of the meals that we are recommending to avoid in management of overweight will give you a beneficial factor, Bwana Ram, on managing even acidity. Because look at an example. Taking meals irregularly, chips, mandazi, chapati. Unajua kuna watu wanakula saa 2, saa 3, saa 4, saa 5. Every 1 hour they are taking some meals. That one is called irregular meals. It's one of the top 10 risks for acidity and heartburn.
Wow.
Now, being a risk of heartburn, in obesity and overweight management, we are advising you to reduce taking those excess calories. By reducing them, by taking at least good meal plan, you have also sorted the issue of excess acidity.
Can milk
reduce
heartburn?
It's a controversial topic, Bwana Ram. It's not that easy.
I know.
When you take it, you feel you are relieved.
Yes.
But some people use that as an advantage. They take it to relieve. But what's the real deal in acidity? There was excess acid in your stomach. So milk does not stop the acid from coming to your stomach. Milk is a reliever. So people overuse milk while not eliminating the risk that increased acidity. Unajua maziwa inaenda inafunika.
Inaposha tu.
But ile kidonda siko hapo. So it's important to have this conversation that we need to know what are the things that can relieve, like omeprazole and among others, but what are the things that expose you to that acidity that you can eliminate them and eradicate that risk.
And what are the foods that I can eat that can help me hit 2 birds with 1 stone? 1, reduce chances of obesity, and 2, reduce the acidity rate in my body.
Oh, you want to kill zote mbili pamoja.
Zote mbili pamoja. Because you mentioned that there are drinks that I can take that can help reduce obesity. And you mentioned lemon and those things. But lemon, on the other side, for someone who has heartburn, can be hazardous. Correct?
So what we do, on the juice, I will take you back to what we call protocol juice. By the summary of most lifestyle diseases, they share so many things. Be it hypertension, obesity, peptic ulcer disease, they share one common thing, principle, Bwana Ram. The principle, I call it New Start. Nutrition, exercise, water intake, rest, that's sleeping enough hours, temperance, which means moderation, among other factors. But let me remind you something, Bwana Ram. On nutrition, that you can kill 2 birds, this is what you do. If you have acidity, the juice that you are taking to manage weight should be a juice that balances acidity. I call it protocol juice. For the sake of Kenyans, protocol juice is where you take a cabbage, a carrot, garlic, you know garlic? Kitungu saumu, you take 2 cloves, red onion, like kitungu ya bulb, round. Cabbage is a natural anti-acid. So that carrot and cabbage, with the garlic is helps to, it's like a blood thinner essentially. So by doing that combination, garlic will not irritate you, cabbage and carrot will neutralize that effect. So that protocol juice or the salad is like you are managing weight by ensuring garlic is there, but you are managing acidity by cabbage and carrot. I call it protocol juice.
So blend
very
it,
beneficial.
Blend it, like every morning, and drink it. So
at least 3 times a week.
I know someone is writing this, so you say protocol juice.
A quarter cabbage, 1 carrot, 1 red onion. Red onion ni ile ya round ya soko ile. Alafu garlic, you don't take a whole garlic, it's dangerous. You take a garlic, you pick 2 pieces called 2 cloves of garlic.
That glove, or 2 cloves.
You pick 2 cloves. You mix those because they are not sweet. You add a sweetener. You add, for example, if you are acidic, ukona shida na acid, unaongeza ndizi, because ndizi iko na zinc ya kusaidia kidonda kupona kwa urahisi. So ripe banana is added there. You can add maembe, Bwana Ram. You can add asali, so that juice is not bitter. We don't want Kenyans to take some concoctions that are very bitter to an extent you discourage your colleagues from taking that. You must make the concoction or the health juices sweeter, so that you also enjoy it as you manage your weight and manage acidity.
Daktari, I'm concerned. I am concerned. As I mentioned when you started, we are as basic as possible to reach the mwananchi there.
Kabisa.
This concoction you're saying, they won't make someone diarrhea?
Which one?
You the garlic, all these things. For someone, azitaribu tumbo. Help me understand.
Kwa hizi concoction nimesema Bwana Ram, there's nothing that will give you diarrhea.
Nothing.
The causes of diarrhea are evident, are medical, are documented. We know what causes diarrhea. So the problem is, you go with those concoctions I've mentioned, you don't wash them, you come from the washroom, you pick a carrot, you want to take that carrot and blend.
Without washing your hands?
Without washing your hands, without washing the carrot, you will come with diarrhea to my clinic tomorrow in Equity Afe Kitengela, and what will I do to you? Because the problem is not the concoction or the carrot you took, it's because the contamination. Because diarrhea causes are there, and maybe one day you'll invite a doctor to talk about diarrhea illnesses, which is a whole topic on what can cause diarrhea illnesses.
Wow.
Yes.
Daktari, let's wrap it up.
Asante. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
And I know this conversation has intrigued many. We should call you again, and we talk about these things.
I will come back, Bwana Ram.
Yes.
And I will come again. And today, if we had time, next time we can do this. We demonstrate how to check your BMI, your pressure, your sugar, so that Kenyans will know the significance of them walking to the next available hospital or medical center to go through those checkups.
You mean I can know my BMI while I'm at home?
You must use them if you have the scale.
The scale.
At workplace, we even bring the scales.
You will come with it next time.
I have it. I will check you after the program at the back office, and we can always do that to educate the Kenyans how they're able to do what we call body measurements.
Wow.
And actually last month was a main measurement month. Every Kenyan needed to know their BMI, their blood sugar, their blood pressure.
Daktari,
yes,
we should do that next time.
Thank you so much.
And of course, that brings us to the end of this conversation. Obesity and metabolic syndrome. Have you learned something? I sure have. My name is Ram Maguko. This is Good Morning Kenya.
Thank you.
Among the many ingredients used in Japanese cuisine is an important one you may not have heard of: kanten. It's in every dish you see here. Kanten, or agar jelly, is made from various kinds of seaweed. Adding water produces a colorless, transparent jelly. Very low in calories, kanten is rich in dietary fiber. It has health benefits that appeal to people of all ages. I eat it because it's good for me. It's a very safe food. Since it contains no animal products, kanten is popular with vegetarians too. It also forms the base of many traditional Japanese desserts. This is one of the most famous. Ryokan is composed of kanten and azuki beans. To make it, kanten is dissolved in boiling water. Azuki bean powder is added and the mixture stirred well. Liquid kanten becomes solid at temperatures below 38 degrees Celsius. This property of staying solid at room temperature historically made it a main ingredient in Japanese confectionery, or wagashi. Kanten's natural transparency inspires creativity. Easy to work with, kanten made it simple to add beauty to wagashi. Kanten was invented about 400 years ago. Here in the Suwa area of Nagano, they still produce it in the traditional way. Gomi Tokuo and his son Akimitsu come from a family that's been making kanten for generations. We